What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. We got some NFC Championship talk to talk about. We're here, baby. Let's go.
Oh my God!
Embarrassed!
He's flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time. There we are. Welcome in, everybody. This is A2D Wednesday nights, only on A2D Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by FanUp, and FanUp is the best way. What the frig is he doing? Snapple facts in the middle of a read. Nick Sirianni's got some good fertilizer. Go Birds. Okay. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by our good friends over at FanUp. FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use our promo code A2D. You get $50 right at sign up. You can download FanUp right on the Apple Store. Go do it. You'll love it. As always, Frank Vespi, No Eaton, Ralph Del Vecchio, Ryan Broda, Greg Milakovic somewhere. I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, welcome in. We'll do locks of the week at the end of the show. We'll talk about, obviously, in our locks, AFC Championship game. And here in Philadelphia, this is great. Here in Philadelphia, we got the NFC title game back in Philly. So, obviously, we'll give you our predictions there. And our main topic at hand, Eagles, Niners preview. We'll give you our score predictions, offense and defensive players of the game, like we do every time we're on Wednesday nights. A chance for you to win 400. You nail the score. I mean, a 400 cut, you nail it. Nobody's done it. Screenshot it. And your tiebreakers, offense and defensive players of the game. And we'll give you the Eagles' keys to victory. And we'll give you, we got to be fair because it's a title game. This is where the best two teams are playing, right? On what concerns you, what concerns us in this football game as well. So that's going to tie into our poll. Our poll question is brought to you by Gleason's Bar, and they're located 6700 Mill Creek Avenue in Levittown, PA. Use promo code A2D for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, take out, or online. Gleason's Bar and Steaks.com is where you can find them. Go check them out. Our poll question for tonight, it's Super Bowl, because we could just go like, the Eagles are going to beat the Niners. We'll get into that. All right. It's easy. We did it Sunday night, right? In the moment. Okay. And that's where you do it. You do it right away. All right. And here we are. So we got to change it up. Okay. And I think this is a good change up. And it's Super Bowl or bust for the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcast, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow, download, review, join the conversation, follow us on all our social media platforms, A2D Radio, and most importantly, comment in. Talk to us tonight, baby. Talk to us tonight. The city of winners. The city of winners. And I absolutely agree. It's Super Bowl or bust. I mean, when you look at how, I'm not calling the Giants a layup line, but it's a layup line, right? That's a layup line for a damn good football team like us, right? And we went out, we took care of business, but let's not act like the big bad wolf came to town and we took out somebody that we don't always take out, right? To be fair in terms of playoff wise. So now we're in an NFC title game and a damn good football team's coming to town in the San Francisco 49ers. But let's also keep this 100. There's also a 7th round quarterback that's Mr. Irrelevant that on top of it. Okay. Coming to town too. Where and the 4 times rookie quarterbacks played in title games, they're 0 for 4. Now, can anything happen? Sure, of course, it's sports, right? But you put a gun to my head and tell me the Eagles don't win that game, you might as well take the shot then. Take the shot. Because I don't know how there's ways they can lose, obviously. But when you look at over the whole picture of both teams, we're still better. We're still better. And I don't care, Iowa State, San Francisco, wherever the hell you played, you have not played in an environment like this. Okay, you have not. It's different. This football team in the Niners are not as good on the road as they've been at home all year. That matters. That matters in these types of games. Now, that's not disrespecting them as a football team. We know what's walking into town. But we also know what's walking in the most important position in all sports. And people try to say, well, it's more than just Brock Purdy. I got you. I got you. But it's the most important position in sports. And there's a reason that Kyle Shanahan hasn't cut the nets down in San Francisco because he hasn't had that position. He hasn't had an elite player at that position or even a very good one. Okay? He's had game managers at that position. At some point now, you're going against the number 2 defense in the National Football League in the Philadelphia Eagles. So this ain't Dallas. This ain't Seattle. So now we talk about different animals. It's a different animal. Now, is their defense going to come to play? Absolutely. Okay? Nobody's going to question that. But to add on, when you talk about a guy who can run around and make plays, that opens up even more things. And when you talk about defensive linemen, there ain't a defensive line in football that's elite at stopping a guy who can run all around and create. That's a different animal too. So when you line up a rookie quarterback, you line up the Giants, right? It's Super Bowl or bust. You line up a record through the regular season. Right? It's Super Bowl bust. I mean, expectations change. Now, when you talk about playing, if you got to play Cincinnati or you play KC, okay, that's not a bust set. That's not a bust. Not saying that losing to San Fran is a bust. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you got a title game at home. You lose them, that's always a bust. That's bust city because we've dealt with it here, right? But those days are over.
Those days with Andy Reid, yeah.
In 2017, it ended, all right? Being worried, feeling sorry for ourselves, always expecting the worst. It ended in 2017 when you hoist it and break a curse. Now you're a winner. So we're going to talk like winners. And if I'm going to talk like a winner, there ain't a shot in hell. That football team is traveling across country on a shorter week than us, having to play their 3rd straight game and coming here and beating us in our home on our home turf. No shot. No shot. All right, it's another lock. It's a lock. You want to get in the locks right now? That's a lock. It's Super Bowl bust for the Philadelphia Eagles. And when we get there, we'll have the conversation on how that game would go. Because we still got to play a football game. It's me just talking shit. We still got to play a football game. But how we've gotten here through the playoffs and what we've been given, now the Niners are a different animal than the Giants, obviously. Home field, right? Best team in the NFC. How's it not when you're playing an NFC title game, Super Bowl or bust? Somebody out there disagree with it and let me know how.
Go ahead, Ralphie.
I'll go next. I'm going to go agree as well. I think when we were, 8-0, 9-0, how many games we went on that winning streak to start the year, I think we all sat here at one point and said, wow, I think this is a Super Bowl contending team, and I think it is Super Bowl or bust. And I don't think our minds have changed that way or have swung, the bust way at all. I just think the way this is right now for this Eagles team, it is Super Bowl or bust. And I think you have to get to the Super Bowl. Listen, you have 2 games at home. You're the number 1 seed. You're a top 3 defense in the playoffs and in the regular season. Everything's lining up for you. Got a rookie quarterback, a mystery irrelevant, like Tommy said, coming to the link. NFC Championship game with our crowd. You should absolutely get to the Super Bowl. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You should get to the Super Bowl and be the team in the NFC East that's playing in the Super Bowl. I just think right now, with everything that's going on, it's a match made in heaven. It's a match made in heaven for us to get to the Super Bowl. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely Super Bowl, Russ. Like, I understand people looking at it from, like, the perspective of the way we came into the year, right? Like, oh, yeah, I'll just speak for me, personally. And I know a lot of people were kind of in the same category. I wanted, you to improve from what you were last year, which was, hey, make the playoffs and actually win a playoff game, compete in one, unlike what you did last year, and fully solidify what Jalen Hurts is. We've done that plus like 37 other things, right? You look at what you did on defense. You look at the sack totals. You look at, obviously, the free agency moves. You look at some of the draft picks, whatever. You've done so much that you can label as ahead of schedule this season, some of which kind of just blend in. Because there's just so much stuff. There's so much positivity that has gone on throughout the entire season that when you look at this thing, full picture, these are the opportunities that you dream of as a fan. To where, oh my God, you get a bye week to where you can just rest and reflect and kind of just watch stress-free football. Then you come back and you face a divisional rival at home, you blow them out. Then you get to come back again and do it again, this time against a really, really good San Francisco team that a lot of people expected to be here. But this isn't Aaron Rodgers on the other side of the field. This isn't prime Tom Brady. This isn't prime Roethlisberger, prime, Peyton Manning. This is Brock Purdy, and that's no shot at Brock Purdy, but because he's done his job, right? This is not even like a pun, but it's an irrelevant quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant, coming in and doing his job after the two guys ahead of him got injured. So that's not a shot at him. But this is an opportunity when you look at your opponent this week and when you look big picture as far as the entire NFC. We talked about this before the playoffs even started, to where it was a wide open type NFC conference this year. And we don't know how open it's going to continue to be like this. We have no idea. It would be nice if it's open like this every year, but the opportunity was there, especially when you look at, hey, we're not paying Jalen Hurts at least the new contract next year. That doesn't kick in until the following. But you can look at all the statistics as far as Super Bowl championships won when your rookie quarterback and a big portion of your roster is on rookie contracts. Well, that's the window you have right now. That truly is. So do I think it's going to be tough? Yeah. Do I think it's going to be a cakewalk that it was last week? No. I mean, listen, I hope I'm dead wrong. I hope it's everything that last week was times 2, right? Because I would love to go through an entire football game of no stress whatsoever. But aside from the team, like I'll just look at it as a fan perspective, right? Because, Tom, you and I talked about it all pretty much every single day during that playoff run in 2017. That was one more week. Well, as a fan, through 18, 19, 20, 21, and then all throughout this year, I reflected and look back on those, all those months and weeks of that playoff run to pretty much, it didn't matter how good we were or how many, games we were winning. It was freaking madness. It was chaos. Now, you had a backup quarterback element that, was thrust into that whole storyline, but like you're in an atmosphere as a fan right now, right? And I talked about this with somebody the other day. Like, I know as a fan, on Sunday, late afternoon Sunday, I'm going to lose my mind whether it's a win or a loss, right? Like, it's almost like it's a humbling yet beautiful thing knowing that no matter what happens, we're all going to lose our minds on Sunday, right? And if you win that game, we've got 2 more weeks of this, of anxiety-filled what-ifs, picturing a parade, picturing everything that the potential Bengals or Chiefs game could look like, and everything after that. Like, I look forward to the moments where friends and family are looking at me like, damn, are you all right? And I'm like, no, I'm not all right. The Eagles are in the Super Bowl. This is nuts. This is nuts. Like, it's a beautiful thing. And I missed every moment of it ever since 2017, and we're on the doorstep of getting that again. So we're this close, you might as well win the damn thing. And then 2 weeks from now, you might as well win that too.
Well, you should. I mean, the expectations change. So, okay, when you said ahead of schedule, we really weren't that ahead of schedule outside of the quarterback. Like, roster-wise, you know what I mean? Like, we really weren't. We're loaded. We're loaded. It was, what was the quarterback going to be? And that's what takes you from 12. That's what takes you from like 11 wins to 14. It is the difference of his level of play jumping to a top 5 quarterback in football type play. And here we are. And here we are hosting an NFC title game with a chance to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's win or bust. That's win or bust, because you don't know what next year is. You have a majority of your, pretty much all your roster. You're going in healthy too. That doesn't happen often. You know what I mean? The only question mark, does Devontae Maddox play? I mean, shit. I mean, that is healthy. That's healthy. So and Niners are healthy outside of their 2 quarterbacks, right? But I mean, they're pretty healthy too. Mm-hmm. So this is a dogfight, all right? But guess what? We're built for dogfights too, because what we do great is run the football. So when you pound it and pound it some more, and you're willing to, as a football team, great things happen in come playoff time, unlike what happened in Buffalo. So, man, I know people out there don't want to hear expectations change, but they do. And you got a chance to win a Super Bowl right now. You got to go take it from somebody, because even if it is Kansas City, Cincinnati, it doesn't matter. We're that good too. So, and we're coming in with a number 2 defense and a number 1 or number 2 offensive football. So we ain't some jabrones walking in like a Cinderella story. This ain't no Cinderella shit. The only Cinderella shit that's happening right now is Brock Purdy. And that shoe drops by 3:15 when the first pick happens. That shoe dropped by 3:15 because this story ain't going to keep up because they are not going to come in here and fucking pound the ball down our throats like people are worried about. Like, oh my God, because stop. Kyle Shanahan's a choke artist. Don't choke Sunday. Super Bowl or bust again. Just keep saying it. Keep talking in the goddamn existence. Hey, Greg.
What's up, guys?
Hello, Greg. I guess I'll answer the poll. I too also agree to the poll. We're probably going to never see a team like this after this season. The way this team has been built. You look at Jason Kelsey, Brandon Graham, Fletcher. Is this going to be their last ride for them after this season? If we do win the Super Bowl, if we make it to the Super Bowl, if we win it, you take a look at the secondary. James Bradbury. Is he going to be an Eagle? CJ, or Chauncey. Is he going to be an Eagle going into next year? Jalen's extension. How's that going to impact the cap going into next year? And with a lot of pieces. And hopefully, Howie being the pimp he is, being a cap wizard, I hope we get a lot of our guys back going into next year. Now, with the actual game itself, I actually got some things up. The Niners, they haven't played in the East Coast since week 6 when they lost to the Falcons. So that's going to be some adjusting for them going into Sunday.
12 o'clock game for them, right? So
pretty much 12 o'clock for them.
Game. That's an early kickoff.
And going into the Eastern time zone, the Niners, since 1970, gone by the merger, 2-5 in playoff games in the Eastern time zone.
Frank went to the cloud.
I love numbers. I love numbers.
Ralph,
I did go
Ralph,
to I'm clouding along.
Ralph's the last person I would think would say I love numbers, but this one fits our love for sure. These numbers are fitting our love. So please continue to make us rock hard, Frank, with numbers.
Some more numbers. Here's some more numbers. The Niners defense on the road has allowed an average of 95 rush yards per game.
Oh.
And last game we kind of exceeded that mark. Most of them done by one Mr. Kenny Gainwell. So maybe, our rush attack is going to be potent against San Fran. And Brock Purdy, we've said it so many times, he hasn't had a true road playoff game. All his road games in the Pacific time zone against Las Vegas and Seattle, where Niners fans do tend to travel to those locales. But having Niners fans in Philly, good luck with that.
Well, especially the Vegas game. I mean, they're like they're the same deal as the Chargers games too. Especially that late in the season. That late in the season, that was a glorified home game.
The Chargers when they were playing at the StubHub Arena.
As a former resident of Las Vegas, Nevada, where I lived for 6 weeks, there is a very sizable Niners population. I worked in Vegas.
6 weeks.
I worked in Vegas for 6 weeks.
Resident talk. No,
temporary Las Vegas resident of 6 weeks. And also one last number. In the past 13 years, teams that played on a Saturday, that extra day of rest, those teams are 17-9 in playoff games.
No, I mean, I said it early on. I didn't even need the number. Thanks, Frank. Thanks for backing me up. I mean, it matters. Short rest at this time of the year matters. Look at the Giants last week. The Giants were dead. They had nothing left in the tank. That was a worn-out football team having to play the week before. Because you're talking about an extra game too. Even though they had a week off before the Minnesota game, it's just like they were worn out from the year, right? And they didn't have enough talent to overcome the wear out, pretty much, right? But the Niners on the road, and we just want to go to this year. The Niners on the road are 5-3. I mean, 5-3. That's not it. That's not elite. If they had if they were elite, like they were at home, or
if they were like 7-1 or like 6-2, then I'm like, okay, maybe there's a fucking case. He might walk in here and drop 30 on us, okay? But they're 5-3. 5-3.
Oh, and by the way, Avonte Maddox was limited at practice today, so he made an appearance.
That's like the best limited you'll get.
Right. Hey, Ralph, if the Niners drop 30 on us this Sunday, I will personally go to Jonathan Gannon's house, take all of his shit out of his house, okay, and find the nearest dumpster and say, don't worry about it. No. This ain't going to Houston or wherever your next head coaching gig is. This is all going right in the trash, and you're going in with it.
Oh my God.
It's a lot of work.
They
It's a lot of work.
better
Just
not give up.
let him go
30.
to Houston.
He'll actually appreciate that, Noah, because he does need some movers. He will be relocating.
Houston might be a better dumpster than the one you're going to find.
Oh yes, Marcus and Jake's comments, they go nicely together.
We better not give up 30 to Brock. I'll tell you right now.
No, stop it. Stop even talking about that. There's not. That's not happening.
That sounds like
happening.
something on Madden on easy mode with all the sliders set to ridiculous amounts.
Hey, by the way,
how it
Frank, I love the sign at the opening. Well done. I mean,
You would. Yep.
Don't encourage him. No.
Well done.
How about this? You know what? I would like to know.
How about this?
Yeah.
If we lose, we ain't losing this game. I promise you that. All right.
Appreciate you.
Lock it in.
No, we're double locking. We just double locked a lock. Me and you. This is a problem. Go ahead.
All right.
I just lowered my margin of victory.
Hey, look, it ain't going to be a blowout. I'm not going to say something ridiculous like that. All right. The Niners, yes, they're a good team. They won 12 in a row. That's nice. Remember when they beat Green Bay last year at Lambeau in the playoffs? You know what they needed? They needed a goddamn block punt return for a touchdown. So the bottom line is, as long as we take care of the football, as long as the special teams doesn't cough it up, there's no way we're losing this game. No way at all.
Yeah, you got to throw it away. I mean, you got to hand it away, and that's why it continues to be agreed to the poll, Super Bowl or bust, because of everything that's been talked about for 21 minutes, essentially, right? Every point that's been made is being made to say you lose this game. It's because you gave it away. That's a bust at home. That's a bust then. That becomes a bust of a season. That doesn't become a season.
No doubt.
You're going to play patty cake over. It's a season you said, well, what if? What could have happened? How great of a season could it have been? All the records, all the talk, this guy's not in for this 30. He's not in for this 30. Means shit. All right, well, at the end of the day, what matters, this whole slogan, it's a Philly thing. Well, the Philly thing should just be Lombardi's. That's the only Philly thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters when you're this good of a roster and this good of a football team, right? And seems to be as well coached as you've been. So you lose this game. I already told you what's going on. You lose this game to this guy. I'm looking to move on from some guys. I got a problem with between nutsacks. If you don't tackle well, if you turn the football over, that's how you lose versus them. Simple.
Yep.
Simple. And the mobile QB on the show.
I think the most important thing is on the defensive side of the ball, as you alluded to, Tommy, it's open field tackling and limiting the yards after catch. And I think if we hold the Niners to a minimum in that area, I think we're going to be just fine. The way I look at it, with weapons like McCaffrey and Samuel, we just defensively we got to rally to the football, and I don't, their O-line is good, but they're not unbeatable. We have the best front seven in football. I think we're going to rush the shit out of Brock Purdy, put his ass on the ground, force him into second and long and third and long all day long, and that'll limit Shanahan's play calling options. And I think if we do that, we'll be just fine. I really think that our defense will play very well. And, I think we're going to force some turnovers. I think Brock's going to throw a few up to us. And it's up to us to make a play when the opportunity presents itself. And, I think we'll force some turnovers, get some short fields for our offense. And it's up to us to capitalize on that. I think we will. And, I like us. I think in the middle of the fourth quarter, we're going to be sitting pretty.
Well, if you think about it, it's going to who wins this football game comes down to really who scores touchdowns in the red zone. And, our defense has been lights out in the red zone. Our offense is pretty lights out in the red zone. So, I mean, things favor us there. But, you lose this football game if if you let you let them get in 3 times, right? I mean, that's how it can, again, but you give it away. You don't play. You're not the same team we thought you were, type stuff, right? Like, okay, you struggle defensively in the red zone versus the Niners, or offensively you struggle in the red zone versus the Niners. Then it's like, okay, well, you know what? The whole year might have been a lie then, because a damn good football team comes to town and they beat you at what you're great at. Then it becomes again a bust.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the Niners have a great defense, but if our defense is able to create short fields for our offense, I think we'll be fine. I really do, and I think we're going to run the ball. I don't think the Niners are that great at defending the run, considering how good of a defense they are overall. I think you can run right at them. I really do, and I think we will. And like you said earlier, we just got to capitalize on our opportunities. Every time we're in that red zone, we got to put 7 on that board.
Yeah.
To the bowl, I absolutely also agree. There's no backing down here. As the week goes on, I'm getting even more and more confident in this team, and even more and more confident in this game. I think what we're watching, and I think Frank stated it well too, is possibly, while we do have a really young roster, the core veterans, this might be their last run. You know what I mean? So I think there's a little bit inside each and every one of them as well. And we know the stoicism from Jalen Hurts and the leadership that he brings. I think these guys are going to be locked in, ready to go. It is absolutely Super Bowl or bust. Tommy, you said it. If you said it once, you said it 1,000 times, right? When you get to this point, or you get to the top, you get to the point in the season where you're the number 1 seed, right? Maybe unexpectedly, right, to some before the year, like prior year, right? Like before the year, I don't know if anybody had them at 14 wins, right? Some of them may be in around, everyone I think had 10 plus, but 14 might have been a little bit of a stretch for some. But as you said, right, expectations change, right? Expectations change. You look across the street at the 76ers too. With the stretch that they've been on since the beginning of December, expectations are starting to change for them too. Mid-December, everyone's like, oh, can you get a top 4 seed? Can you just get home court in the first round of the playoffs? Now you go on that run and you're like, all right, well, can we get the 1 seed again? Now we're back to shooting for the 1 seed. And I think that the Eagles are the same way, right? You get into the playoffs as the number 1 seed. You handle you dominate in the divisional round, and now you're here to the championship round, and you have to win this game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to win, and get us to that Super Bowl. And then from there, it's I don't think we're going to play bad, but from there you kind of almost wash your hands and just enjoy the ride there. Right.
Yeah, it's no bust there, right? We can all agree.
There, right?
Yeah. Unless you're going up against somebody who shouldn't be.
You're one of the last 2 standing.
Yeah. Unless you're going up against what you feel is as somebody who shouldn't be there, but that's not going to be the case.
Nope.
And even if it is the case, it's still a Super Bowl. They got there, right? So I mean that and at that point it's no bust.
Yep.
It's house money, right? And
this is the bust. This is the bust.
This is the bust. This is your place. You got to go somewhere else. You got to sit around for
completely different story, right? You got to travel.
Yep. How do you handle the 2 weeks? There's so much that goes into the Super Bowl that is sort of out of control, out of players.
And that's not a regular game either, right? How many times do we sit there and say that too? Like that's
it's
an event. That's an event.
That goes to what I was saying earlier, to where it's about just getting to those 2 weeks, because obviously,
we hear about it. We talked about that in 2017. Give us 1 week, and then we got the 2, and it was so glorious because it really it was stressful because we never won one. But it was so glorious that hey, oh shit, we're one of the last 2 standing, and we get to hear about ourselves for 2 weeks.
It's a celebration.
Yep.
Oh wait, the 2008 season, right, against Arizona.
Well, no, all of them. Like when we went to Super Bowls, it's always been the few we went to. It's always been it's great to hear about us for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Right?
It's the same deal in a sense, even though the Phillies, were more Cinderella-ish based off of obviously, there's a bunch of stuff in there, especially in September. But even, and I'll say this coming out, and we know obviously we didn't win that World Series a few months ago, but during that time, especially with how the media really clamored to how the fans were in the city, it was a celebration of the achievements in the organization. So with those extra 2 weeks, especially looking at, I mean, again, like you better friggin' win on Sunday to really put a capper on this, at least getting us to the 2 weeks. But this is a special season, no matter what, right? Like as far when you talk about the regular season. Now, you don't want there to be a stain on it, which would obviously happen if you don't come out with a victory.
Oh, this makes it unspecial real quick.
Yeah, it makes it but. It was like, yeah, that was fun for about 3.5, 4 months. But what did it amount to? A lot like that 2011 Philly season. To where it's like, oh, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. So well, at least they won something, right? Yes. A lot of those guys, but you're right. But and these guys have too, 4 or 5 of them, right? But what this comes down to is you put yourself in a place, they have a rookie come in, you lose this the way it's all set up for, right? It puts a huge stain on your regular season because now you have question marks saying, okay, when I play at elite teams, this happened to me. If that's Jalen playing his worst game of the year or whatever, then we're gonna have question marks on what we watched all year, right? Or if it's our defense gets exposed or something, something happens that we're like, and we sit on that all off season. It would make the off season nauseating for us. That's what it would make it if we lose this football game because something bad has to happen. Which let's clear it up. Nothing bad's gonna happen. Get it out of your heads, people. But something really bad would have to happen, and then we were gonna harp on that, which would make this season incomplete, miserable in a way because it becomes you're with a girl and. You know what I mean? It's a little rub and tug, and it never your release never happens, right? And after the season would become blue balls. It's a blue ball season. If you don't win, so that means bust. Win this game. Next game, no bust. That's a huge accomplishment for either team. Just like we said about the Phillies, and just like if the Phillies beat the Astros, that's not a bust for the Astros. You know what I mean? You beat a team that's red hot, right? Red hot. The Niners are red hot, but it's not played. You play one, you play at their park. You play at their park, right? It's played at one place. I know they're hot, but we're not cold. The riddle of the people. Like people talk like the Niners 112, like that we've been cold. Sure, take the 2 games out. You got to take them out because their starting quarterback didn't play.
No,
that ain't cold.
Tom, the formula, and this is why it goes to how, again, there's a lot of different ways you can lose a football game, right? Like you listed. But when you look at what each loss, starting quarterback or not this year, right? If you want to factor in the Commanders game on Monday night, it's all been the same way where we've lost. And I touched on this last week. I'll do it again. We look at the Commanders game, right? It wasn't the penalties. It wasn't Jalen Hurts. It was the turnovers. You gave it away. Okay. Next game, Cowboys. Yeah, Minshew didn't, he was the starter. So, you didn't have Jalen Hurts? That's why you lost. No, Minshew played good enough where you
30 didn't help either.
Well, that also, but you know what goes to it? The 4 gifts that you gave him on Christmas Eve. Turnover. And then the 3rd and 30, that wasn't great, right? But it was the 4 turnovers.
No, I can't say it was.
No. It wasn't awesome. And then the Saints game, and then the Saints game, same deal. You gave it away. That's the formula. Yeah. If you win the formula battle, you better freaking win.
The formula is your starting quarterback is elite at not turning the football over. He's elite. He's calm. He's collective. He's poised. He's beyond his years, as they like to say. That's what he is. That's what we watched all year. There's nothing rattles Jalen Hurts. Nothing bothers Jalen Hurts. It's on to the next play, right? It's on to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one. I'm telling you guys this. When your leader walking around at the quarterback position is that calm and collective and works that hard, it radiates through buildings. I'm telling you, it radiates that everybody wants to do. We talked about this in 2017, pre-Diva in Carson Wentz, when we talked about coming into that year, the work ethic, right? Which is not false. That's not like a lie. That really did happen before things all blew up, right? Mm-hmm. And now they were like trying to beat each other getting in. Remember? Like, who can get in? Who can get in early? Him or Nelson? And then other guys got in. That's that. This is that on steroids. That's what this is. Okay, so this is a whole nother level of leadership that we've never, in our history of watching Eagles football, have never seen. We've never seen it. And I think when you get to this point of the year, and the guy's still going to be this, it ain't like he ain't playing big games. So he's still going to be right here. And when guys see that, it matters. It just matters. It brings a calmness over your locker room because we're humans, right? This is an emotional game. It's a game you still get butterflies for, you still get jacked up for. But when your guy leading you, is that cool, calm, and collective? I mean, there was a guy that we'll use San Fran. There's a guy in San Fran that was just cool, calm, and collective for years, and they won a lot of football games because of Joe Cool. I'm not comparing him to Joe Cool. I'm talking about the calmness, right? The collectiveness, where when you blitz him, not rattled, right? When you hit him, not rattled. You don't flinch, man. You don't flinch at the quarterback spot. You know, he ain't flinching. We're freaking winning this goddamn football game, and we're gonna start talking about how we really are the city of winners, right? That once 2017 happened, it opened up Pandora's box on trophies. Okay, and here we are again, and I don't see us losing.
I mean, Tommy, I completely agree with you. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, fellas. There is no such thing as a 5-year fucking window in the NFL anymore, right?
No.
Time is now. When the opportunity presents itself, you must take advantage. The Eagles must take advantage. I'm sorry?
It's pretty much a 2-year window now. You suck for 1 year, then you get all the cap space, you sign a bunch of players, and then you got 2 years to win it, and then you tear it all back down and you start over again.
And we learned this in 2017, too, when we were talking about, and listen, first time we won a Super Bowl, first time we went to a parade for that specific team. So we had to figure things out, right? But all of us, right? And justifiably so because of how, good it looked. It was like, oh my God, we did this without Wentz. Are we going to win 4 out of the next 6, 5 out of the next 8? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's just
we found out quickly it's not that easy.
Well,
so
I mean, not even 2 years later, it's like, oh, we suck.
We didn't have room in the NovaCare for the trophies. You know what I mean? Like, we were counting so many. We were like, I don't know where to put these things.
We thought we were going to have to replace some of the buildings with statues. We're like, we got to shorten this building.
We might lose one game the next, 5 years. I mean, it was aggressive.
Same thing 2008, 2010 Phillies, right? Like, if you'd have told us we were only coming out of there with 1, we would all say,
would laugh at you.
We
would literally laugh at you.
We're coming out of 3 of 5, right? That was our expectation. And Ralphie, you're absolutely correct, right? In any sport, the window is the year you're in.
Yeah.
The year you're in. That's your window.
You could lose 10 guys next year to injury.
And you're right, because you might have all the guys. I mean, how many times did you look at Baltimore? They're like the Ravens. Oh, we got all these guys under contract. Right, and you look at ours too. Yep. Like, we said we put it in 2017. We got all these guys under contract till 2022.
That's the best defense in football. Sorry, that's the best defense in football.
Absolutely, but you know what I mean? Like, everyone's like, they're going to be loaded. Well, next year, they weren't loaded, right? Because things happen. You lose a guy to injury. This happens.
You lose your quarterback.
Right. You lose your quarterback. You're absolutely right, Ralph. The window is right in front of you. That's the window. Is the one you're looking at right there.
Listen, you don't want to you don't want to waste opportunities at home. When you look at NFC title games, AFC title games, and you talk about the home team losing, that's always a bust. That's always a bad loss. It's never a good loss. Green Bay losing at home in title games. Like, it doesn't, when you judge quarterbacks too, right? When you judge quarterbacks, this game's important, right? This game's important for our quarterback, right? To win a type of game like this at a young age, or what kind of confidence that leads to the following year. When you look at Joe Burrow gets to the dance, right? Little hangover early on the start, and then boom. You know what I'm saying, guys, right? So, it brings a confidence level to you. Like Mahomes, when he was young and gets to his first one, right? His level of play continues to be at a high level because now your confidence is at an all-time high. Right, and that's what I want for Jalen too, because I think when you talk about this, we'll give our score predictions in a second, but you win this football game, okay? You win this football game. His level, you could talk about this is where you start talking about, like, how many more can we go to? Right? That's when that conversation becomes real. Right? Because it's not like somebody else took us there. And it wasn't, you know what I mean? Like 2017 was weird because the starting quarterback didn't take us there, essentially.
Yeah.
You did, but didn't. This is your starting quarterback taking you there, having a monster year and it continuing. So, man, I mean, I start to having conversations on we gonna be in this conversation for the next 5. I'm not saying go to the next 5, right? But I'm saying be in that conversation as NFC title contenders the next 5 years. That's a real possibility, but it starts on Sunday. It starts on Sunday. You can't lose that football game. Like, I'm not going to tell you we're not going to be in the conversation next year. You understand? But you lose that football game, there's going to be tons of people that have major question marks about you coming into the following year. Major question marks on, right? You lost a home playoff game at home, right? I mean, you lost an NFC title game at home to not just the San Francisco 49ers, with all things being equal.
Yeah.
Like, it is Brock Purdy, guys. I'm not telling you it can't happen, but knock it the fuck off. That ain't a Philly thing. People want to say that would be the most Philly thing to happen. No, get that shit out of your head. That's old Philly.
This ain't your father's 49ers.
Yeah.
This ain't Joe Montana or Steve Young or Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you John Taylor, Brent Clark, Dwight Clark, you name it. The bottom line is we must take advantage this Sunday afternoon. There's no excuses. The Philadelphia Eagles are head and shoulders better than this 49ers team. Yes, the Niners are good, but the only way the Eagles lose this football game is if they give it away.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to do it.
Damn right.
We don't got Cinderella. Right? We don't have that story. And somebody said in the chat earlier, like, the NFL wants the Brock Purdy story. They got enough of it. You understand? They want a team that actually can go to the Super Bowl and win it. That's what they want. And to be real with you, like, the story's cool. He's played inside their offense. At some goddamn point, you got to be the reason you beat somebody. You got to be that reason. Last week, not the reason. Seattle, not the reason. Exactly. Now you're playing the big boy. When you get this deep into the year, you got to be the reason that you win. Don't give me Trent Dilfer shit. You're a rookie, right? Can you be that guy to be able to beat this defense at home? I don't see it. The turnovers have not happened. I can't believe they haven't happened. But I got to believe if you put pressure on the Niners early and you get an early lead in this football game, and you stuff Christian McCaffrey just like you did when he played for Carolina, right? And you stuff up their run game, right? And you make them have to throw the football. You make him beat you. That ain't gonna happen Sunday. That ain't gonna happen.
And Trent Dilfer was playing with one of the greatest defenses ever put together.
This is
not
that.
Look at the Ravens defense in 2000.
Where's this
have
all
gold jackets.
Defense?
Joe, that Ravens defense might have all gold jackets. Seriously. That defense was that good, dude.
Well, Ralphie, gun to your head. Whose defense would you rather have? Ours or San Fran? I'm not being a homer. I'm going to tell you.
I'm not being a homer either, dude.
We're deeper on levels. They beat us at linebacker, right? They beat us at the linebacker position because they're loaded down. Defensive line were better. Defensive line were better overall. And
we have 4 to 5 guys on the defensive line that could be starters for any team in the NFL. Any team in the NFL.
Well, let's take Homer out of it, right?
I'll take Fred Warner. You know,
Fred Warner.
Oh yeah. I'll dabble with some Fred.
That's why their linebacker core wins that. Yeah. But they only win 1 out of the 3.
Well, let's take any potential homerism or bias out of this, right? Because we know where we're at as far as the eye test. I did this last week with the Giants. I'll do it again because, listen, I did it last week and it worked, so I'm going to continue doing it because I'm superstitious. But okay, so there's no bias in this. Let's look at how they ranked up all season, not the last 3 games, not the last 3 years, all season, full sample size, okay? That way we could say, hey, these are the numbers. Numbers don't lie, except for when they do sometimes, but we're going to ignore that part. So when you look at the defense, right, because we talked about it, hey, would you rather have Phillies or would you have San Francisco's? Well, they're 1 and 2. As far as total defense, Phillies 1, San Francisco's ranked number 2. Then when you go deeper, right, and this goes to Noah, I think you were talking about this on how you think we should attack them. Tom, I know you were talking about it a little bit. We've all touched on it a little bit throughout, the first 45 minutes or so.
Oh, yeah, when you pound the rock, go ahead.
Well, so you look at their rushing defense, okay? Just opponent rushing yards per game. San Francisco is second in the league as far as a rushing defense. I'm not overly worried about that because I look at what we did to Tennessee, and Tennessee was the number 1 ranked rushing defense, and we went all over them, both running and then passing.
If you factor in a mobile quarterback to that, I guarantee their numbers aren't good.
No, they've struggled against mobile quarterbacks throughout the year.
And I know it was Marcus and Jake. They both brought it up earlier in the comments.
So did Tom, Frank, too.
I know. I was mentioning what happened.
Good tape. I beat both Jake and Marcus. Just an A2D competitor. You know what I mean? I'm not going to let them win that battle. It's A2D.
Different Marcus. The Cowboys fan Marcus.
Other Marcus said it too. A lot of Marcus.
I know.
A lot of Marcuses brought it up. No,
we got a lot of the Marcuses. And we have a Marcus that needs to claim a prize from 12's.
That's unbelievable that people don't want free shit. You know what I mean? Like, people don't want free shit.
I'm going to summon more old people to torture you guys. So.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the rankings now, Frank.
All right, back to the rankings. Enough with the old people.
San Francisco's ranked number 2. The Eagles ranked 16th. But again, we know that we've made strides and improvements when we signed Linval and Ndamukong and once we got Jordan Davis back. Then you look, obviously, at the passing defense. This is where the big difference maker is. And I think a certain wide receiver that a lot of people were saying, oh, is he pissed off? Oh, is he hurt? I think he might have something to say when you look at their passing defense.
Well, he better have fucking something to say.
Yeah,
he better have fucking something to say because his little acts happened for a couple of weeks. All right, his act didn't just start. His little cute act's been happening. Right, so I'll chalk one up like throwing your quarterback under the bus like you did Gardner. I'll chalk that one up, but then you do it again. Then you do it. You're moping. You know, winners don't mope. Winners don't mope. So you better go have a big goddamn game. You better go light somebody's ass up.
The Eagles are the number 1 passing defense in football. The San Francisco 49ers, you know, how the national media is saying, oh, they are by far the best defense. Can you be the best defense when your pass defense is 19th overall in the NFL? I'm not sure about that.
Well, they take a lot of chances because they have a front where you can take chances. Problem is, you take chances, you can get burned anyway. But you take chances against a damn good offensive line and a damn good quarterback who can run around. That can create some problems for you defensively. That's where things break down and big plays happen, right? They've been exposed on the big play, right? So, but to Noah's point, you still got to be able to run it, right? You still got to be able to take it to them so you can set up the play action, so you can set up the RPO throws, right? You need to be able to sort of set them up. And if you start setting them up, you know, they'll have guys bite. And that is where they're weakest at. You know, there's no question about it. You know, they are not like they're not even close to as good as us. That's why when I say about us, we're number 1 pass defense. Well, that's why I need to get myself, I need to stop the run. I'm selling all out to stop the run. Because if I'm number 1 in pass defense, right? And then I got a rookie playing against, no matter where he was drafted. Well, I got the running game they can bring to the table. You got to sell out, right, guys? You know, you have to load the box up and say, you know what, honey? You beat us today. And if you beat us, you beat us, right? But you shouldn't, when you look about the numbers like we just talked about and all those things, you shouldn't.
And you know, it's funny, too, you look back at this past week against Dallas, like they struggled offensively against Dallas's defense, and Dallas's defense isn't anything to write home about. They're good, they're solid, but they're not great. But their biggest play might have been an illegal play. Their biggest play from the passing game shouldn't even have happened if you actually look at the play again. Kittle actually being covered up, and he's the one that caught that pass, right? I mean, I'm not saying they wouldn't have still won the football game, but their biggest play from scrimmage was an illegal play that shouldn't even have happened. And that's against a Dallas team that, you know, except for the Bucs, I mean, we put up 38 with Gardner Minshew on that defense.
Yeah,
you know, so I mean, they're not great. So yeah, I mean, everything is kind of. I don't want to say everything is going in our favor, but there's a lot of things that look good on our side when you go up against what they have to offer. You know, which again goes to every one of us saying yes to the poll.
Samuel asks on a super chat. Thank you, Samuel. He says, are you all concerned that Hurts has only beaten 1 top quarterback in his life and that quarterback is a washed Aaron Rodgers? No.
Yeah, I don't know what that – I don't – like, what does Brock Purdy beat? And if we're gonna do that, and I care about, I don't get into that, man.
Thank you for
Aaron
that.
Rodgers isn't washed though either.
No.
I mean, you want to call it spade at spade. Aaron Rodgers isn't washed.
He only becomes washed in the playoffs, which he didn't get that opportunity this year. That's all.
No. Listen, I mean, I don't. You play who's in front of you, right? So when you're 14-1 as a starter, I think you've probably beaten some guys who can play. Yeah, I'm just gonna, not. I appreciate super chat, but I would assume you beat somebody. Dak's not, we had one top. I mean, Dak's. I was watching Sixers for a second. Dak's considered a top 10 quarterback, though. Like it or not. I mean, I don't know what to tell people. The way the quarterback's been in this league, right? He's at least top 10.
Has Hurts beaten him? I don't think he's beaten. No, because it was Cooper. But it doesn't matter though. Like regardless if he beat him or not.
Beat him last year or no?
No.
Last year?
No.
Hmm.
Doesn't matter. We're one win away from a Super Bowl. I'm not worried about like who Jalen Hurts is beating. I'm worried about him beating Brock Purdy and the 49ers defense. And then hopefully I'm worried about if they're beating Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes. Like then I'll have we'll have that discussion like going into hopefully in the next 2 weeks if we're still playing like, hey, what's like the best win Jalen Hurts has had, and he's going to be playing probably one of, if not, the best quarterback you could possibly face, and that's either Mahomes or Burrow.
At the end of the day, he does go up against the defense. So
sure, yeah, he's not lined up, parallel to Rodgers.
Yeah, the whole QB to QB thing. It sort of makes me laugh. Like, how many top defenses has he beaten? I'll tell you plenty. I'll tell you plenty. And another one he's beaten Sunday, and he's beating them 24-20 Eagles this Sunday.
And he did spend 3 years in the SEC. They're pretty good defenses too.
Yep. And if you give us your score prediction, give us your score prediction in the chat. Comment in. Let us know what it is. Give us an offense and defensive player of the game. You nail it. $400, Venmo, Cash App, whatever you got. Sent your way. PayPal. All right? If you nail it. Nobody's done it all year, so the price has gone up. Right, boys? We've sat here and watched.
Mm-hmm.
We watched it keep ticking up. Somebody nailed it. 24-20. I do think it's a dogfight, as it should be. I'm not going to say it's easy, even though I'm locking it. There's going to be stressful moments. We're the better football team, boys. We're the better football team, and that will prevail Sunday. And ain't no 7th round motherfucker coming into here. That's all.
Ralphie?
31-21 Birds.
Ooh. All right. Frank?
Comes an index card.
Yep.
Sign in 5, 4, 3,
28-23 Eagles.
Okay.
Mr.
All right,
Eaton?
Noah.
Brace
Good to
for
have you.
impact.
All right, here we go. Let's rock and roll. Pack your bags. We're going to Arizona, baby. Let's fucking go. The Eagles beat the 49ers 27-14.
All right,
I think
nice.
the Eagles pull away in the middle. It's going to be a close game through most of it. But say about the 6-7 minute mark in the fourth quarter, they pull away.
All right, I like it. Greg?
I'm changing up from our early talks on Sunday. I'm going a little bit wider of a margin. I feel really good about this team. I think they're locked in, and then I think somebody mentioned it early on in the show. You have a couple guys that have an extra chip on their shoulder after today. And that chip doesn't go any further if you don't win, right? If you don't put your stamp down and you don't win, you get to the Super Bowl. You can stop talking about who should have been up for what award or whatever, right? I'm going 27-17. 27-17 Eagles. I think it might be close through halftime, and then our defense takes over and slams the door shut on them, like they have a lot of times this year. I mean, how many times we talk about the small number of points, let alone touchdowns, that they give up in the second half.
Oh, listen, it's a lot of credit to Jonathan Gannon making adjustments. It's a lot of credit to this football team, this defense, for sure. After Ryan goes, I want to ask you a question before we get in the offensive defensive players of the game.
24-19 Birds.
Jesus Christ. You sit on my lap. We're like so close. Jesus. Everybody is.
Well,
Everybody's
me and you were the same ones on Sunday to start, remember?
Yeah. 24-20.
Tom, I actually had the same.
20-11. That's a strange score. I like it.
Yeah,
I
we're
actually
going
had
score-gamis?
I had the same score you did, Tom. I had to switch. So
Yeah, it happens. It happens. My question to you guys is, what's your number that they can't score over? Like, we did it last week. Like, to me, I really don't want them over 17. You know what I mean? To me, that's almost a little bit of a failure, but I'll give it 20. And that's why I went 24-20, because I'll give them that 20. Anything over 20 starts to bother me, because you are going up against a damn good defense, right? Mm-hmm. So to make me feel comfortable, you got to hold them to 20. And to be honest with you, their offense is good, right? It's very good, but it's not, I don't know. I'm not trying to take shots at their offense, but they have some playmakers for sure, right? But it comes down to who's got to distribute that.
I'm going 24 is mine. 24 is mine.
24
is that number.
Frank?
I too say, well, even though my score is 23, I think 24 is the number.
This guy. No.
I mean, there's no excuses here. The Eagles, they need to hold the 49ers under 20 points. If they score more than 20 points in this ball game, then I start getting a little worried. I mean,
where your head's at. You can't be that great of a defense and start letting rookie 7th round draft picks come in and put up 24, 27 on your ass. That ain't elite. That ain't elite.
No, I agree. I mean, I think the only way the Niners score more than 14 or 17 points in this game is if we give it away and start turning the ball over and fucking around and giving them short fields. That's the only way. I mean, Brock Purdy is not driving that Niner team 75, 80 yards down the field. He's just not going to do it.
Nope. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep disrespecting people. You know what I mean? I'm going to keep saying, not tonight. Not tonight. Greg?
Yeah, I'm right with you at the 17 to 20 range. I mean, that's where I had my score, and I can't. You're right. You can't be this defense that you've touted out if you're going to let a 7th round rookie come in and put up more than 20 points on you.
So I'm looking here. The Niners throughout the entire year, they've averaged just over 26 points. None of that was in Lincoln Financial Field, so I'm gonna have to deduct at least a field goal, probably a little bit more, just because of the elements. 7th round pick, all of that. I'll go 23 points, especially because I have 20. I was winning 20 with 24.
Yeah, you put up 26. I mean, they play Seattle twice a year. That helped.
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah. Without Aaron Donald.
Yeah. I'm not trying to take total shots at him, but
it's the third time he has literally. It's the third.
No, fuck that. Everybody wants to talk about how the Eagles haven't played anybody. Fuck that. Talk your shit, Tommy. Their division sucked this year. Okay, Seattle bums, Arizona bums, Rams bums.
And what are we in, Ralph?
Their division. Almost the whole division made the playoffs this year.
The quarterback.
Everybody talks about teams or who you play on their schedule. They talked about that all year. Go right ahead. Talk your shit about the 49ers and who they played.
The quarterback didn't leave the West Coast. It's a simple.
How many playoff teams we beat? We beat playoff teams, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We beat Dallas. We beat the Giants twice. They're a playoff team. I mean, who else did we beat? That's a playoff team.
Twice. We beat the Giants 3 times.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you count the third.
Vikings.
We beat the Vikings
on Monday night.
If Ron Rivera realized, hey, we can be eliminated here, the Commanders would have been. The Lions are right on the doorstep. The Packers are right on the doorstep. So it's not like, hey, we just beat playoff teams. It's the 3 teams that were on the doorstep. We also beat.
Yeah, it's not like we
played the Bears for 17 weeks. Like
no.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
This is the NFL, guys. It's not like West Carolina's on the damn schedule. You know what I mean? You got to put teams in front of you.
But for them, it was a little bit lighter. That's all. A little bit lighter because of your division. That's not a shot. Just a little bit lighter. And the Jags. Yup, people in the chat. And the Jags. Jags playoff team. Okay, so I don't want to keep hearing that. There ain't no narrative here to try to come up with for this dude, for this team to lose this football game. There just isn't. There'd be a lot of teams.
Yeah, if Brock Purdy would have gone into Lambeau and would have won, and that was on his resume, gone into Kansas City, won if he would have gone to freaking Jacksonville and won. He has not won on the East Coast yet. And I'm not saying that is the end-all, be-all, but it's when you're coming to Philly and you didn't look great at home against Seattle, you didn't look great at home against the Cowboys. Your 2 road wins are in Seattle. Seattle's an okay football team, but the 49ers travel well there, like we talked about. And the glorified Raiders against Jarrett Stidham with 95% of that arena, and I know because I was watching that game live, was 49ers fans. I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to make complete comparisons to 2017, but it's been in my head all week since it was official that we were playing the 49ers. And I'm not saying that this guy's going to be like a career backup like the quarterback I'm going to name. It reminds me a lot of when Case Keenum came in here with a really, by the way, the Vikings were the number 1 defense in football that year. Same deal as the 49ers, according to the national media. And, Case Keenum had a ton of weapons that year. Young Stephon Diggs, rookie Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen when he still knew how to play. That was a really good football team. And everyone thought, oh, my God, they're the team of destiny. They just beat the Saints at home. Now they're going to come in here. And they put up 7 points. I'm not saying Brock Purdy's putting up 7 points. But there's a lot of parallels to this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying Brock Purdy stinks, but everyone just assuming, hey, this guy was a late-round pick. Automatically, he's Brady. Let's see what he does on the East Coast in a hostile environment before I crown him and give him every freaking award in the book. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
I'll stop people on the
Well,
Brady.
who knows? Maybe in a few years we'll be saying, oh, my God, Brock Purdy is Brady. But to be honest, who the fuck cares? We're worried about this year. And this year, Brock Purdy is going to finally start looking like Brock Purdy.
A 7th round Mr. Irrelevant.
Tom Brady didn't win a Super Bowl in his rookie year, so he didn't go to one in his rookie year.
Listen, Brock's got to come back down to earth.
There's a big
one point in time. He's got to come back.
There's a difference. There's a difference of this is why rookies don't win Super Bowls. That's
why rookies never been to Super Bowls.
That's why they don't
it's
go.
Simple. We're winning this fucking game, damn it.
We are. And now we got to get into our offensive and defensive players. The game brought to you by Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pie, sandwiches, cutlets, meatballs. Mention A2D Radio, and you get 10% off your in-store purchase. We had it for the game the other day, last Saturday. Delish in a dish, all right? And I just had some more of the pizza, tomato pie last night. Put my own little cheese on top just to spice it up. It sat for a few days. Still delicious. So go check them out. I'm going to stay with my guy, DeVonta. He gets in the end zone again Sunday. He's been red hot. And I'm going to do my usual hour pisser. So I'll just give you my defense going to be the same guy again. It's a weekly thing here on A2D Radio. And it'll be CJ. CJ gets a pick. CJ gets a pick. It's time, boys. Lacerated kidney is fully healed, and so are the hands. Pick, and it might even be, you know what? I don't really do this one. Might be a pick 6. I smell a pick 6 coming Sunday. Smell it, feel it in my loins.
Tom, what position is he playing?
I mean, where do I want him to play?
Well, no. What? This is like a half prediction on him, half prediction on Devontae.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. The Devontae side. I think Devontae plays. If he's limited to that, it's a pretty good sign.
Yeah,
pretty good sign. So we'll see where he is on Thursday. But I'm hoping he does this from the safety position, because if he does it from the safety position, that's our best football team.
Yep,
that's our best. That's the best we can run out there. So there ain't an excuse in the world saying well, we got beat because of Reed Blankenship. You know what I mean? Well, don't put Reed Blankenship at safety, which is Scott at corner, and let your all-pro, in my opinion, league leader in interceptions, play safety. But either way, gets a pick 6. Obviously, Eagles win 24-20. If I got a pick 6 in there, shit. They're only scoring 17 offensive points in. I don't know. Actually, I might have to raise my score. You know what I mean? By the time Frank.
No, give him an easy week.
Give them an easy week. Save the offense. If they win the game, save it for the Super Bowl. It's fine.
Oh yeah, well you need to go up and down the field in that one, no matter who you play.
Yeah.
Then this one's more of a backyard brawl, and I think our backyard brawlers want this. I know somebody in the chat was like, "You don't want it like the Niners do." Well, oh, okay, we don't want it. You know what? They want it more. I love that. Like we want it more. Come on, both teams wanted a lot. Both teams got bulletin board material for different things. That's what athletes do. All right, that's what competitors do. All right, so everybody's ready to play. So
you saw after the 49ers and Cowboys game, they all ran with the social media. The post what they got to say about Michael Parsons.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
People are going to talk. Man. People are going to talk. But the difference is the Niners team in a whole ready to win? Yes. Okay, I'm going to continue to say it. Yes, he's got to be ready to win too, though, and that's what I think we all agree. Is not going to take place.
Ralphie?
My player of the game is going to be Mr. MVP himself, Jalen Hurts. 3 touchdown passes.
Frank?
My offensive play.
No, he's not. But
he is.
He should, but he's not.
He should be, but
give him Super Bowl MVP, Ralphie. Okay, let's get to that. Let's get NFC. Let's go NFC title game MVP, and then you don't have to worry about that other award. That doesn't.
Yeah,
it's fine.
My offensive player of the game. You know what? Hey, at least we get to see Dallas in a championship game. Give me Dallas Goedert.
Oh.
Who'd you go with?
Dallas Goedert.
Oh my God, That was weird.
Oh, that's getting me.
Yeah, like your screen like froze for like a second. That was pretty crazy.
Where it's frozen like this?
Yeah.
Okay. We just lost about 20 viewers. That's fine. Noah?
Hey, at least we don't have live concerts on here, so we're all good. So.
Oh God, Noah, please go.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. Let's see. Offensive player of the game. Let's go with man. Dad, taking Jalen's the easy way out. Tell you what.
Damn, he's taking shots at you, Ralphie.
Tell you what. You know what? I'm going to go real outside the box. Give me Boston Scott.
Oh, Christ almighty.
He's not playing the Giants, right?
That's fine.
I hear you.
He's going to get 3 snaps now.
He's pissed off after Kenny Gainwell stole the Giants game.
Here you go, Greg. One of those 3 snaps, he scores from 4 yards out.
There you go. That's a good.
How about
that's
that?
a good bet. That's a good bet.
Bang bang! I like it. I love it. I'm just glad you didn't take the running back guy that I was going to take.
Damn, you're leaving.
And on the defensive side of the ball.
No, wait. That's next.
Time
out.
All
right,
Wait in line, Dolores. Come on.
I'm gonna stay in the running back room. I'm gonna go with Miles Sanders. I'm gonna say plus 70 yards, 70 to 100, and a tutty.
It's tough because I thought for sure this guy was going to get taken. I mean, they're all good picks, even the Boston Scott one, I guess. Listen, there's only a handful of certainties in life. Taxes is one. Ben Simmons not looking at the rim, playing offense. There's only a handful of certainties. Ralph's Lakers not being the best.
Yeah.
The other certainty is AJ Brown going off a week after him being pissed off. It's a foregone conclusion that it's going to happen. Then you look obviously at, a 49er secondary that can be had. I'm going to go AJ Brown. The other guy I was going to go with, and I went with last week, and it did pretty well. So I'll just put this as like an honorable mention. Lane Johnson, he's got to be, a big impact in the game because my guess is he's going up against Bosa. If not, it's going to be Mailata. And if it's not Bosa against Lane, it's not like Bosa's the only guy who's good at rushing the passer on that defensive front. And again, I said it last week. I'll continue to say it. One of, if not the most important player in Philadelphia, he's got to continue to do what he does, and that's Lane Johnson.
No, he's the most impactful player on the team. I don't think there's any debate on that. There might be guys better.
Sure.
But
guys that steal the headline. Guy hasn't allowed a sack in back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous the splits with him in and out of the lineup.
Yeah. Ralphie, defense.
Who did Tommy go with for his defensive?
GJ.
Yeah, Gardner Johnson.
He's out on revenge after his car got stolen earlier this week. So.
Oh my God, you believe that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can believe that, Greg.
Oh yeah, I mean he's in Philly. Well, first of all, why are you living in Philly, dude?
Well, he's probably
She's 6.
It's not like he's living. Never mind. I'm sure he's taken care of over there.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's a nice establishment.
So his car is too.
Well,
as it's driving up and down Broad Street.
Yeah, just getting ready for the parade.
As
my
it's leading the motorcycles and the quad up and down Broad Street.
Ralphie, please go before I say something.
I will. I will. Give me BG 2 sacks this Sunday. BG 2 sacks, baby.
I'm not gonna lie. That trash talking he did at midfield with the Giants,
dude,
had me rolling.
Loved it.
Legendary
had
shit.
me rolling. Did you see Brent Selleck walking off the field after that?
He was laughing.
Brent Selleck
smiling.
couldn't hold himself in. He was dying.
I love it.
Oh,
I love it. He said,
hilarious.
Daniel Jones, I'm coming after a throwing shoulder. You better be ready, boy.
he said, Saquon, don't get hurt trying to chip me.
I love it. I love it.
Ralphie Yusuf says congrats on Rui Hachimura.
Yeah, thanks. Hopefully we can make the playoffs.
Do you even have any draft picks left?
Yeah,
we had 29.
We had 28 and 29 first rounder, and then we have
good
5 more second rounders we can dispose all.
Do you have a first rounder?
Let's look at
28, 29.
No, never mind.
Well, we do have a first rounder. They're all like at the Pelicans.
Swaps?
If we get a better pick than the Pelicans, and the Pelicans take that pick, and then we take the Pelicans. Yeah, we have first rounders. It's just all swaps basically.
They just don't own them.
Yeah.
Amari, now what did he say? I actually like Lenore in the draft, but if he said something stupid, then I'll not like him anymore. So yeah, definitely let us know what he said. Frank,
give me number 7, Hassan Reddick, as my defensive player of the game. I did it last week. I'll do it again this week.
why is like no one talking about, not Philly people, like why is like national media not talking about this guy? Like, and this is just one guy's opinion, but like Cowherd put up a top 10 players.
Yeah, he wasn't on there.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not saying like there's scrubs in the top 10. Like there's a lot of good, really good players on both sides. But I mean, Hassan Reddick deserves to get a little bit of attention, right? And like,
it would be nice, right? I mean, he's almost leading the league in sacks, but
I mean,
I guess sacks don't mean
seriously.
anything.
If his name was Micah Parsons, he'd be defensive
everybody would be on their knees.
And again, I'm not saying he's Nick Bosa. I'm not saying he's, I'm not, but like he's pretty damn good. And
but in reality, though, to be completely honest, in reality, though,
he did.
His whole career's been like that.
Sure.
Right? Because if you look at his numbers in Arizona, you're like, oh my God, this dude should be a Pro Bowl every year. Then you look at his year in Carolina last year, I was like, this dude had, we had 12, 13 sacks last year for Carolina. And you're sitting there at Carolina like, why didn't you not keep this guy? He freaking double-digit sacks again.
We did the exercise a couple weeks ago, and over the last 3 years, he's number 3 in total sacks.
Yeah, insane.
And nobody would
and
know
he's so underrated.
Bosa and TJ Watt.
And nobody talks about him like that.
No.
It's so weird.
You know what's a clear indicator? I mean, there's a lot of clear indicators in this genre, but when I know national media types just don't, they're either looking at a stat sheet or they're looking at a 10-minute highlight tape on YouTube when it comes to the Eagles. And this was on ESPN, this was NFL Network, not MLB Network, NFL Network, people who pride themselves and are employed to watch football. They were talking about the breakdown. This was yesterday night on just the defense versus defense, Eagles defense versus the 49ers defense. They were talking about Nick Bosa and, Fred Warner on the, the 49ers side. Guess whose name they led with when talking about the Eagles highlights players on the defense? Guess whose name they brought up first?
TJ Edwards.
No.
Reed Blankenship.
No. It's a bigger name than a undrafted and an undrafted. But like the guys they're not paying attention if they're leading with this guy's name.
Who was it?
They brought up Joseph got it. They brought up Fletcher Cox. A guy who at this point, listen, he was very good 3-4 years ago, right? $100 million man. This guy's a rotational interior lineman at this point.
Yeah,
and he's the first guy you bring up.
Yeah, just I understand where you're going. It's just I think that's the name that's been there forever. And I think he also had his highest sack total this year that he's had in the last 3 or 4 years.
That's not necessarily saying much.
I'm not saying it is, right? But that's probably why they did that.
But they didn't discuss any of the 4 guys that are in double-digit sack totals. They didn't even talk about freaking Javon. Okay, you don't want to talk about Hassan. The entire country doesn't talk about Hassan. You didn't talk about BG, who had his career-high sack total coming off a freaking torn Achilles at 34. You didn't talk about Javon in a contract year, who's in double digits. Didn't talk about Hassan. And then you mentioned how Slay is playing like a defensive player of the year, which maybe last year. But no, there's a lot of good players, but it's just one of those indicators that people don't get mad at the national media for saying stupid things because that's the clear indicator. They just don't.
Yeah, they probably
don't pay attention.
They probably hold the 4 guys with double-digit sacks against each other, right? You know what I mean? It's almost like the MVP voting when you have two players, on the same team that are really, really good, right? They're going to steal votes from each other.
I look at
the way you answer that, though, is you go out and win the damn Super Bowl.
Sure.
Yeah, that's how you answer that, right? You know what I mean? The personal awards are all fine and good, and I know it means something to them because it probably has a bonus attached to it, right? So I completely understand that. But I think everybody, at the end of the day, they'll take a Super Bowl and a parade over anything else. And it is, it sucks because you're right, Rye. I mean, and everybody else here too. You want your guys to get recognized for the great year that they had.
The only award that I'm upset with, honestly, Ralphie, I hope you're right. I hope Jalen wins it, right? But I think it's going to be Mahomes. He had to have been a finalist, so that was fine. The Coach of the Year thing, should a coach of a 14-3 football team?
You know what's so weird about that, right? And it comes full circle.
Okay.
Full circle, right? What happened in 2017 with the Coach of the Year?
Well, Doug didn't get it.
Doug didn't even sniff it. Guess who won it? Pretty boy out there in LA.
Oh, McVay won it.
McVay won it. Guess what happened this year? He's not even mentioned on Coach of the Year.
Yeah, it's a little I would have put him.
Sirianni's not even
That's
Coach of the
what we
Year.
call sus kids.
It comes full circle. And guess what?
I bet you the last 4 weeks had something to do with that.
Well, who would you put him over? I'm interested.
He's in the NFC Championship game. His team was the best team all year long.
I don't disagree, but all that is done after the regular season.
Yeah, it's voted
in
December.
You don't take the regular the postseason into it.
They don't, Greg. They don't. They don't.
Coach of the Year.
Maybe. Ralph, that argument.
Doug should have been Coach of the Year in 2017, and Sirianni should have been Coach of the Year now.
You should at least be freaking nominated. That's
it's almost the same year without getting the
What do they nominate? 3 guys? They nominate 3, right?
Well, no. They nominate 5. And for any other category, they nominated 5. And then they had 5, and then they took 2 away.
Yeah, they do 3, right? So they do 3, which is weird.
Finalist, Tommy.
Listen, hear me out. Okay? I agree with you guys. But you don't win Sunday. That ain't even a conversation anyway. Even though I get it's a regular season award, but then it's there's no uproar. Talk to me after this week about an uproar about it, right? Because I'll be right with you guys. I'll be right there, Ralphie. I'll get my signs out. I'll be picking it right with you, baby. But he's got to win Sunday for me to get up in arms about it. With a lot of the guys on this football team too, right? The Jalen conversation about being an MVP, right? Well, the other 2 guys in the AFC right now are better quarterbacks than you. That's not a shot at Jalen Hurts. They've accomplished more. Right? One guy's won an AFC title game in Joe Burrow. He's gone to a Super Bowl already, okay? Lost it, I get it, but he's still going to one. Right? We know Mahomes' resume. So right now, those guys are ahead of you. You know how you shorten that gap? You win Sunday.
Winning. And winning big.
We lost NFC title games here with loaded rosters for years and years, right? And that guy got crushed. So to be elite is more than just your numbers and regular season wins. That adds on to eliteness. What equals eliteness is winning these types of games. That's the difference maker. And like I said, I believe Sunday he's going to take care of business again. And then the MVP conversation comes in big time when you talk about Jalen Hurts, because now he's going to the Super Bowl, right? And that's where the eliteness starts to be mentioned.
Ralphie, the only award that I was kind of upset with was the BG one, because Saquon had no
Comeback
business
player
being
of
on
the
that
year,
list.
he's not even mentioned, dude.
Well, no, Saquon had no business being on that list because he played a huge portion of last season. So what is he coming back from?
Yeah,
I understand.
But what is this league, right? This league's an offensive league, so they're going to give awards to offensive players. They don't do it as much on the defensive side for those types of awards.
Towards the Achilles.
Yeah, I don't like it. Again, I don't like it. I don't like it, but BG's proved everybody wrong in his whole career, right? So in terms of these awards, like, good. Don't give them again. Like, I look at these awards as good, great. Don't nominate me for shit, because what I want is the extra motivation. I don't want to be nominated and start smelling my goddamn self. I want to say, wait, what? Hold on, you guys missed this whole year? Right? As players, as coaches, right? You guys missed this whole year? So, right? So now I got a little bit more stuff to motivate me, even more than I'm already motivated, right? A little more attention to detail. A little more like, fuck you guys, like we had in 2017. Like, you don't believe in us? Good. And I like that a little bit, right? As much as I want these guys to be nominated because they deserve it, right? In every category you guys, the categories you guys have talked about, obviously, right? I want them to be nominated, of course. But then the devil's advocate side that I always lean on is not the guys need more motivation, but this time of the year, when the bodies are hurting a little bit more, you're tired, it's long. Oh, give me something else to motivate me. You stupid motherfuckers. You know what you just did? You saw what you did in 2017. Yeah. And that's even more of a reason why we're getting in the locks. This is a stone colder Sunday. And if it isn't, we got major question marks then. We're not as elite as we thought we were.
Noah, did you go defensive player of the game? Yep.
Hey, I'll give you that real quick. Give me a pick. Oh, you're
good, Kyle. We just went down a rabbit hole.
Darius Slay, pick 6.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pick 6.
Nice. I like that. All right. Well, big play.
By the way, real quick about all these awards. I guarantee you.
Good reward.
I guarantee you, the players in that locker room and our head coach don't give 2 fucks about an individual award right now. The only trophy they care about is the Lombardi Trophy, and we're going to get it, damn it. I think they take care of business Sunday. They're going to come out angry. They're going to come out hungry. They're going to they are going to pound the Niners for 60 minutes, and at about 6:30 Sunday evening, guess what? We'll have our ticket punched to Arizona. And you know what? Go back to 2017. I guarantee you Doug Peterson doesn't give a damn that he didn't get Coach of the Year, because he got the trophy he wanted, the Lombardi Trophy. And you know what, fellas? In a few weeks, we're going to be saying the same. Nick Sirianni will be saying the same thing.
Greg, before you go, you know what's funny is that when you talk about this football team too and why they're different is because when you talk about guys who really care about those awards, to me, become a little bit selfish, right? Right. At this time of the year, I don't even worry about that stuff. Right. Like you said, what defines me at the end of the day is hoisting that shit. And if I hoist that stuff, right, I live my whole life's taken care of, right? My whole reason's taken care of as an athlete, right? That's what I work my ass off for all off season in the hopes of being able to play and win a Super Bowl, right? That's what every team and every player essentially works for. And then you have guys, that of course are going to be worried about more individual awards. But I think the way our roster is structured with our veterans that have been there, I think it helps too, right? I think it helps not looking for what's the big prize here. These little prizes aren't the big prize. And I think that matters in a locker room where you do have some younger guys, right? But your younger guys have also winners too. Your quarterback, your wide receiver, one of your wide receivers, at the college level. So, it's great. It's that stuff.
I guarantee you,
Greg.
I guarantee you, Jason Kelsey and Brandon Graham have the 51 other guys in that locker room focused on one thing right now. One. And that's getting that Lombardi Trophy.
Well, I think Lane and Fletch.
Jalen. Oh, yeah. Jalen. No, of course. Yep.
Well, Jalen too. Jalen, DeVonta, they're both winners. You know what I mean? Yep. You got a lot of guys who have won. throughout your football team. And that absolutely freaking matters this time of year. And so do they, right? Just not cut nets down, right? They've been to the dance. They know what it takes to get here. You're getting a team that's been there a bunch, right? And hasn't really done it because on the quarterback, Greg. Go ahead.
I defensive player of the game. I'm gonna go same thing with what I did on Sundays. TJ Edwards. I think he's gonna be key around that middle.
God, here we go. Did you say that last Wednesday? Was that your guy?
I said it last. Yeah, I said it last Wednesday.
Did you? No, I don't.
And I said it Sunday early, so I didn't change that one.
No. I'm not saying you changed it. I mean, I pick the same two guys every week on purpose, so I don't. If I didn't, I wouldn't remember what I picked. So I was just curious.
Last week you went Slay. Last week.
Did I go Slay?
Yeah. You didn't go see. I went Gardner
because it was playoffs, and you wanted the highest paid man, and you were right. We didn't hear a beep out of him.
Shit.
We didn't hear a peep out of him.
If you want to change it, Tom, I'll take Gardner Johnson.
No, well, I want to be consistent, right? Like I don't want to be the guy. But you guys start pointing fingers to me after the loss. Yeah, you guys are saying, Tom, see what you did?
All season you went CJ, so you're good. You got a track record of going CJ.
Bigger track record.
Yeah.
You
just at money time, like you did last year in the playoffs or 2017 the playoffs with Fletch, you went to the money guy.
Well, like Noah said, pick six.
And rightfully so, right? He showed up last week. They all did.
Yeah, and a pick six like Noah. Noah's saying pick six. So you're talking pick six. I mean, that's big play Slay. Even a pick.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's your highest paid defensive player, just like Fletcher was in 2017. And those guys got to show out. So when you talk about like Deebo's, before you go, right? Like Deebo's not an elite route runner. I want to make that clear to people. Like, I don't think people realize that. Like, he's not an elite route runner. He's an elite that can put you anywhere and you can make plays. That's what he is, right? So like, he shouldn't be beating you over the top. He shouldn't be beating you in routes. That's Brandon Ayuk, who is the better route runner of that grouping, right? And even Christian's a better route runner than Deebo, right? Because of daddy. But he is, right? Like when they line him up out there. Deebo, he's got to be worried about because they can put him anywhere and he can make big plays. So when you talk about TJ over the middle, that's big. Our linebackers are key on Sunday because they do a lot of stuff over the middle. Kittle's over the middle. Deebo's over the middle. When you really look at all their plays, they beat you in the middle of the field. So how do you make a young quarterback suffer? You take away the middle, right? You take away the middle, and now he's got to extend his game and his eyes, and that's where your corners and safeties can start making big plays.
Well,
Slag.
Well, that's why I go to mine, because again, McCaffrey, Kittle, Deebo, those guys are going to get the most attention, justifiably so. But the guy that I've been looking at the last handful, of days, to where if he goes off, it could be trouble, because I don't want to say he's an extra, but he's somebody that's not in that top three as far as, hey, you really key on. And that's Brandon Ayuk. And I think a majority of the time, it's going to be James Bradberry on Ayuk. So I'm going with James Bradberry.
No, it's a great pick. I mean, everybody's given great ones too. I mean, these guys got to come to play, right? When you talk about the names we've mentioned defensively, and obviously, did anybody say Hassan?
Yeah,
Frank. No, it's a great pick. And then Ralphie, who'd you say?
BG.
BG. Okay. I mean, the defensive front. We talk about it all the time. I mean, it's a high priced front, right? Mm-hmm. And they got to do what they do Sunday, right? They got to get after it. They got to create havoc. They got to stop the run, right? They got to get pressure. Because if you get pressure on him and take away the middle guys, that's where these picks we're talking about come from. Yeah. Nobody's been able to do it yet. Okay, credit to Kyle, credit to their staff. Nobody's been able to do it yet. But can we do it? Well, we're built to do it, right? Our ranking, all these things, we're built to stop offensive juggernaut air quote teams, right? And that's essentially what they are, because ride by their numbers you mentioned earlier. Their numbers speak that they're going to score a lot of points, no questions about it. But we always say defense wins, right? Especially at home, right? You got a great defense at home. That's where you got to win a football game. You got to win a football game. Like you could say, just for San Fran, same thing. If I'm a San Fran fan, I'm saying my defense has to win a football game Sunday. That's how I win. And that's how they would win if they win. right? So the same thing being said here. Like, we got a young quarterback too. Shit. You know what I mean? Shit, we got a young QB too. So how do I take pressure off of them? Well, one, I score early because our defense has played with leads majority of the year. But even if I don't, and it's a dogfight, right? I got to win it defensively. So when we talk about how many points, like we gave 20 and we were generous, shit, I should be really talking in the 10 range. I need to shut your asses down, 13 maybe, right? I got to shut you down. So I don't even – my offense can sleepwalk through a football game and score 16, right? You guys got where my head's at?
Yeah.
Right? So this is where all your money's at. All your money, obviously you have some money up front. We get it. I get it. But all your money and your big assets are really on the defense side of the football. They gotta win.
We talked about it earlier, and this was before I even saw this, that it comes down to the turnover differential and margin, because you look at the formula on how we lost those other 3 games earlier in the season. So I actually just found this. So the 49ers, they're number 1 in the category of this statistic. The 49ers are 15-0 this season when they have a positive turnover margin in a game. So that's simple. That's simple. They have more turnovers than you, we win the football game. If you lose the turnover margin, history says you're losing. Doesn't matter what Jalen Hurts does, doesn't matter what Brock Purdy does. If you cough up the football in any which way more than they do on Sunday, odds are you're coming out with an L. That's what it comes down to.
And that's why every coach in the country preaches the same damn thing. Take care of the football. Take care of the football. Take care of the football, because all over the league, the teams that do that win. And part of our record comes
especially
down
in the playoffs.
I mean, if you went over our record, we're probably 2, 3, or 4 because we do the same shit. Mm-hmm. We win the turnover battle. We win the game. And I don't know, where do we rank in that statistic? Like, we have to be up there in the top 5.
Oh, you have to be, because of how we led. Now, I know in December, our turnover margin went from like plus 15 to like plus 8 or something. Like, it really dipped in December. And it's probably skewed a little bit because of Gardner Minshew and how you had the 4 turnovers and then that mess of a Saints game. But I'm sure they're up there.
I think we turned the ball over twice against the Bears, right? Jalen threw 2 interceptions.
Picks,
so December wasn't great.
Yeah, December wasn't our best month.
No, it was,
and especially playoffs too. Regardless of what the stats say, right? Playoffs, you want to play as clean as you can,
and you
just don't want to give your opponent, who is usually at this time of the year almost as equally as good as you, or they wouldn't be here either. You don't want to give them an advantage.
Yeah, Greg. Well, I mean, you guys just made the point. You know what I mean? By saying, like, the games we lost, so we turned the football over. Like, you know what I mean? It's really
heavily, not just one. Like, I know for a fact the Cowboys.
What's the other way, right? The other way is them controlling how the game's played, right?
Yeah, the time possession, which you can do with Mitchell, McCaffrey, and again, they're not.
Yeah, but their offensive line's not as good as our defensive line, right?
So it shouldn't be. No, it comes down to the trenches.
Yeah, that's where we got to absolutely, dominate, is up front for sure. So, I mean, and both sides, we just have to be good enough on our offensive line, Sunday. Like, I don't expect you to win every play, but you got to be able to run the football enough, enough. And that's Jalen. And I think like any defense, right, guys? When you talk about the RPO game and the ability to move as a quarterback, right, it puts so much pressure on great linebackers, right? And when you talk about Warner, and you talk about Armstead, is that their other linebacker? No, it's not Armstead. Who is it?
I think a D lineman.
Freaking other
Greenlaw.
Yeah. Their linebackers are big time, right? So you if you can freeze them, right, and make them have to make a decision, that's where you can win at. Now they're still quick as shit. Fred Warner's gonna be all over the football field, so there ain't no denying that. He might just hit somebody right now. So
that Giants game, because again, I look back at it and we saw it, and it was like everything happened in slow motion in that game because of how low stress it was. This past I guess Saturday it was, Saturday, where like AJ Brown didn't need to go off. DeVonta had his moments, but he didn't have like 127 yards. Passing the football, or I'm sorry, catching the football. Miles didn't go crazy. It was basically a game 1, which we just talked about, which it needs to continue this week, in the trenches. You dominated offensive and defensive line play. You did, because you looked at it. We were like, oh, they might make it close because you got, you have Thibodeau, you have Dexter Lawrence, who's like a freaking Hall of Famer, at least historically when he plays against the Eagles. Non-factor. Complete non-factor.
Leonard Williams, non-factor. Yes. Their whole defense was a non-factor because, we took it to them. Now, this is a level up from that, and rightfully so. But when you talk about our offensive line, and again, the assets that we put into it, just like the defensive front, when you look at those two positions, we win because our offensive line's better than their offensive line, and our defensive line this year is better than our defensive line. Historic sack numbers, right? So, we're deeper, but that's not taking anything away from their defensive line, right? And then when you do the matchups, it's almost like offensive line to their defensive lines, almost like an equal, right? Almost like an equal per se, right? But our defensive line and our offensive line's a major win for us. That's the difference, right? That's how we win it, right? When you match it up all different ways. That's how I'm not trying to be a homer. I think that's just the facts of it, right? The facts of it. When you talk about our fronts, and that's why, another reason why I think we all believe we're going to win, and we don't think we're going to turn the football over, and we believe Brock Purdy's going to turn the football over. And he's due. Come on. Forget the picks for a minute. Give me a strip sack. He's due for a damn turnover. At some point, he's got to hold. When you talk about the number one pass defense in football, right, guys? At some point, he's got to hold on to the ball for a little longer, right?
Yeah. There's for sure. Yeah.
You would think, when's that going to happen? Well, this week. This week. And they shouldn't have. If Dak didn't stink out loud, they don't win last week.
It wasn't.
He stuck out loud.
The funny thing is, as bad as Dak was, they still had an opportunity. It was the George Kittle drive, and Greg, you mentioned it, how that was a completely improv play that should have never happened. That wasn't even the big killer, in my opinion. It was that they got down in the red zone, the 49ers did on offense, and the Cowboys stopped them 3 times. The problem is, each time they stopped them, flag. Then they stopped them again, flag. They stopped them again, flag. That was a field goal. They get off the field. The Cowboys still have complete control of that game. Instead, they give up a huge play to Kittle, then 3 flags right after that. That's the game. That's the game right there.
And Pollard.
Oh yeah. Zeke is toast. Yeah.
That's why he said he'll come back for less. He said he'll come back for less. That's how done he is.
Well, you know what that is? You know what that is? That is him realizing, oh my God, there is zero market for me. They could only get a 6th round pick for Amari Cooper.
Well, you don't
at least
have to move
Amari
either.
Cooper's got a little something left.
Yeah, you don't got to move. So it's a win-win. You know what I mean? I'll stay for cheaper. I don't got to move. Whatever. I'll keep losing. It'll be my year next year. But when you break it down, our defense is better than Dallas. Dallas traveled, short week, and still essentially shut it down defensively, right? So, when you look at that comparison, and now Niners on a short week, coming here, they're the ones traveling, not us. There's something about sleeping in your own bed, too. So they got to travel cross country. This defense is like a bunch of caged animals again, in my opinion. They're ready to go dominate. This front, that's all they've done. Hassan Reddick's been all over the field, too, guys.
Yeah.
Right? He might be the most underrated signing in the history of Eagles football. The impact.
Yeah.
Another guy not nominated for Defensive Player of the Year.
He's been
not nominated.
Tom,
the real winner should be real quick. The real winner should be Chandler Jones, the D tackle for Kansas City. When you're a D tackle and you got 15 and a half, you're Defensive Player of the Year. You know what I mean? Because that's a hard position to get that many.
Tom, I said this while you were away on both the NFL Network and on ESPN last night. They were breaking down the defenses for both teams. You would think when you're talking about the defensive front or just the defensive, highlights, at least for the Eagles, you think you would talk about Reddick, Javon, even BG, maybe Bradbury. No. Talk about Fletcher Cox was their headliner. My biggest difference maker for them against the 49ers is Fletcher Cox. And listen, Fletcher's been really, really good for us. He's not Mr. $100 million man like he was 4 years ago. He's a rotational interior lineman. This is what I'm talking about. We could just tell when people weren't paying attention.
No,
and that's not a shot at Fletch.
You pay attention, you can name 5 guys on the defensive line.
And they named their own quarterback. They were talking about Darius Slay, oh, he's playing like a defensive player of the year. Yeah, last year he was. He's the second best cornerback on this team this year. The other guy's James Bradbury.
Yeah, that's why I don't listen to national stuff, right? Because everybody jumps on the wagon. They really don't know. And I think San Fran, I think San Fran fans feel like they're not winning this football game Sunday either. Like, I think the majority of sort of what I've read, sort of what I've been able to listen to a little bit, is not like confident like we are, right? Because I think they're waiting for a shoe to drop too, because there's only been a handful of big throws. There's only been a handful of big throws, Greg, in 2 games.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, you have to. Like, if you're sorry to cut you off, but like, if you're if you're a real sports fan and you're objective in your sports fan, you have to sit there and say, when is it going to stop? Like me in 2017, right? Like, are we really going to beat? Is Nick Foles really going to do this?
Yeah, let's not compare the two. Let's not do that right now.
No, take that back. Take that back, please.
Take it back.
Take that
Knock
back.
on whatever wood you got right in your pants. Go ahead.
I think Bill said the same thing earlier when he was like, team of destiny, Nick Foles.
I won't go there again, but yeah, I mean, can we keep doing this? Can we win 13 in a row? Are we really a team that's going to end the season winning 14 games in a row and a Super Bowl?
Yeah, knock it off. I mean, knock it off. I
don't like this game.
Great run, but all runs come to an end.
Yeah, and our run's different. It's like, okay, well, you can say the same thing for us. But no, it's not like a magical run.
No,
like,
it's not.
The team wasn't expected. Like, you lose 2 starting quarterbacks. I mean, think about it. You're on your 3rd. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, D'Amico Ryans, tremendous job getting him ready to play football, right? And then your defense coming to play to back him up. But, I mean, again, this isn't the 85 Bears walking into town. They're really good, okay? This isn't even the Legion of Boom in Seattle for years. This is a very, very good defense. Very good, all right? But they got weaknesses, and more weaknesses than us, in my opinion, defensively. And when you talk about the quarterback, there's just no freaking way that he plays a spotless, elite-style play that you need from your quarterback when you talk about NFC title games. You just can't. Like, them. The other way they win it, guys, is if they run it for a $185. So if they run it for a $185.
Our run defense just goes poof.
I'll be on right after that. And I'll be talking about, the sacks were cute. You're all soft as baby shit. That would be that conversation.
It's got to be one of the 3, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If they come out with a win, the 49ers come out with a win, let's say 7-8 o'clock on Sunday, one of the 3 things happen. It's either Brock Purdy turns into Tom Brady of the Patriots, right, which half the media says he's going to be. 2, you do exactly what we talked about for the last hour and 42 minutes, which is you do exactly what you did in the other 3 losses, which is turn the football over. Or 3, McCaffrey, who, by the way, and I think we should pay attention to this throughout the week, has been nursing a calf issue.
I was just about to say, both running backs.
He didn't practice today, and neither did Elijah Mitchell.
Deebo's got an ankle injury.
Yeah, I think that's
I'm not saying it's anything for
nobody practices. Nobody practices.
Yeah, I don't worry about the practices. I just worry about how he clearly tweaked it against the Cowboys, so it's just something to pay attention to.
Yeah.
But McCaffrey, if we don't turn the football over, and Brock Purdy just continues to be what Brock Purdy has been the last 2 weeks, which is, you could argue, good enough to get it done, but has capitalized on the mistakes of the other teams, right? Dallas completely coughed it up. Seattle, inferior opponent, and also they coughed it up. Geno coughed it up in the red zone numerous times. Unless McCaffrey's going off for 200 freaking yards, what's the formula here? What's the formula?
Well, the formula is simple, right? I mean, to your point, like, the reason they won 12 in a row, I mean, let's start to talk about that. When did the trade happen? Right? There's no coincidence that their offense became better, right? That's a big-time playmaker. He stayed healthy for them, and it took them to another level.
Yeah,
and
they've been rolling after Matt Rule got fired.
Yeah, they've been rolling ever since, essentially. So when I look at that side of it, that's why I say, if you got to pick the one guy that you have to stop for the San Francisco 49ers Sunday, it starts with Christian McCaffrey, because that is not an easy task either, right? That is not an easy task because it's not just in the running game, right? Because if you can get going in the wide receiver game, obviously in the slot, they use them. I mean, all over the field. So that's priority number one, right? Your point is, to me is I got to stop Christian McCaffrey, and then everything else from there, right? Then it's like, okay, who's next up? But my main stop has to be him because if I take away their run game and I take away him from their offense the best I can, and I contain him, I make it really hard on them then.
Then he has to be a hero. Like I would think just based off of what we've seen, he's better than Daniel Jones. But what happened in the Giants game?
For sure, he's better.
You took away Saquon in 0.5 seconds. Daniel Jones then had to start throwing to guys. Now, their receivers and their weapons are way better than the Giants. You're not throwing at Darius freaking Slayton, and I honestly can't even think of the
offensive lines are probably close. I mean, the Giants have a lot of high picks up there at least. I mean,
the biggest decider is Trent Williams. That's the only thing that's like.
Yeah, but they have a first team All Pro on their left side too, and Andrew Thomas, right? Isn't it Andrew Thomas? What's his name? The Giants left tackle.
Yeah, it's Thomas and then it's Evan Neal, the rookie.
Yeah, but Thomas is like first or second team All Pro. So I mean, he lived up to it. Was my point. Like they have. It's not like they have like cupcakes. Like they don't. They just think at the wide receiver position, right? Yeah. Like terribly. But it's not like they're front when you talk because you were talking about run the football with Saquon. It's not like they didn't have guys that's what they did all year. They ran the football well. So
we shut them down.
We shut it down. What does San Fran do? They run it great. Coaches are equal right now, in my opinion, right? Sort of equal. They're both really smart offensive guys.
Yeah.
Their teams are usually ready to play. And what's Kyle Shanahan's biggest hurdle? I mean, all the years of NFC title games, he's been the one Super Bowl.
A joke.
So if I'm going off trends, my trend is, and it's not a shot at Kyle. I think I know I take shots at him for choking in a Super Bowl, right? Rightfully so, though, right? But I'll never say that he's not a damn good football coach, right? That he doesn't get he get more out of less sometimes, right?
Anybody can play quarterback for him and he can win. That's ridiculous.
Anybody. But at the end of the day, John Lynch has done a tremendous job as a general manager. It takes a lot to tango, but Kyle's freaking smart. But he's got hurdles, man. He's got demons and skeletons in his closet. He's got some shit in his closet where it's like, well, every time an NFC title game comes around, are your teams really ready to play? Because your cool quarterback story doesn't usually last, right? All the different quarterback stories, like Jimmy G, cool. I'm going to try to throw him 12 times or 10 times in an NFC title game and think I'm going to win it. Or he did win that one, right? But still, it's absurd. Wasn't that one in Green Bay? Didn't they beat him in Green Bay and he threw like 11 times? Jimmy G.
Jimmy G. He does it. Yeah, just in every playoff game they win, he throws it like 5 times.
Yeah. No, because I'm not a hater like that. Like I have my gripes with a guy, rightfully so. I don't think he's the smartest guy in the damn room, right? There's guys who are the smartest guy in the room. I'm not going to tell you he's that. I'm just going to tell you he's a damn good football coach, right? And obviously he came from a tree, right? When he popped out the goddamn womb, he had a playbook in his hand. So, some guys are built for this shit. And so is Nick, though, just in a different way. Like, Nick's around coaching, right? Nick's played, essentially, right? So Nick's been around it. I mean, a lot of these guys they grow up with this shit. But who's a better football coach right now? Who do you have more trust in this game is my next question to you guys.
I mean, Homer, put the Homer to the side. Give me Nick right now. But I think majority of people would say Kyle just because he's been to the big game and he's been there and he has a feel for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no trophy, but a feel.
Yep. But a feel goes a long way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But does the feel go a long way when you never win it? You know what I mean? True, does it feel wear out? Like, I don't got to feel for this shit no more. Like, I don't know how to win this one. Right? Like, doesn't it feel like exit you? And it's like almost like an Andy Reid where like I got to go somewhere else and I'll finally win it, right?
What's his record in NFC title games? Super Bowl, like
why are you looking that up? I'll go Nick and
you go Nick,
I'll
right?
go Nick, and you could call it Homer, or you could call it just he hasn't choked yet, right? So I'm going off of what he's done, right? I'm going off of a really good regular season coach who hasn't choked. So
Let's not act like he didn't get a lot out of his quarterback too. Frank?
Sure.
Give me Nick. He knows what the F he's doing. And I trust him.
Noah?
No, Sirianni, hands down.
Jesus Christ, hands down.
Hands down.
Ryan?
I don't like us all agreeing, so I'll go.
Fellas, on that note, go
Yeah,
Birds. I gotta head to bed.
Good
See you,
night,
Noah.
baby. Good night. We'll be following you
All
soon.
right, enjoy the game, fellas.
We will. We
Ralph
will.
will be
You
able to
too.
tuck you in.
You too. Nobody better.
Go Birds, let's go. Let's get it done. JG, no bullshit. No soft shell shit. Come after him.
I love soft shells.
I'm like, who the hell is he talking to?
And love a soft shell. That overall. All right, brother. Love you. Go Birds.
Oh my gosh.
Get the fuck out of here now.
Yeah,
so you and Kyle. Okay, good. So I don't have to.
Yeah, I'll go Shanahan just because I'm not gonna have us all pick Nick because then Nick Sirianni will be doing like a hybrid Philly special on our own 46-yard line on Sunday. So I'm good. I'll just go with Shanahan just so we don't tempt that into our lives.
No, that's
and
fine.
it's a little closer than hands down that Noah wins.
Yeah. That's why I said
it's definitely close.
Yeah, I think the reaction of it, Jesus Christ, after sums that up on where he was going. But I'm gonna say Nick because it's not easy to win this many football games either. Like over his start to his coaching career, right? Nick Sirianni's been to the playoffs his first 2 years as a head coach in the National Football League, and his second year he's in an NFC title game, right? I mean, I think that's growth, right? As a coach, so what is he? He's turned a second-year starter, right? Third year in the league into the MVP conversation. He's a part of that. Right? He's a part of. He's a part of the X's and O's. He's a part of these guys buying in and playing for him. I think all that shit matters. And I think guys play for Kyle too, obviously. Defensively, it's D'Amico. Just because I won't say Jonathan Gannon. So defensively, I'm going to say D'Amico. I think D'Amico.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shanahan is 6-2 in the playoffs. Sirianni's 1-1.
Yep. Yeah, Shanahan 2019 got to the Super Bowl that year. They went 13-3.
Yep.
21, they went 10-7, finished third in the division, got to the conference championship game, lost to the Rams. And then obviously this year. So the 6 years he's been there, he's only made the playoffs 3 times.
Yeah, but then all 3 times to go to title games.
Yeah, he goes.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And Ralphie did the first 3 years he had Bethard.
They went 6-10, 4-12, and then the year after they went to the Super Bowl, they went 6-10.
It was Jimmy G's first full season because the year prior to that was the Jimmy G trade year where he went nuts and they signed him that extension. And then the year before it was CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick Mullins, that's the year.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the year.
I mean, I think this is a Nick as of right now. Kyle's a damn good coach, but like I said, Kyle has not won the big game. Kyle was a part of the biggest collapse in Super Bowl history. Had his hands in it. Was the offensive coordinator.
It was the offensive coordinator. Yep.
And I'm not blaming all blame on him. It doesn't all go to him, but a piece of everything goes to everything on the offense.
He called plays. He called offensive plays. He's the one that said, "Hey, let's go soft. Let's go passive here."
It's amazing. It's amazing. So I can never pick him, even though I think he's really good. But I'll just never pick him. But listen, I was excited for last week, but my level of excitement is like way up because part of me is like I want to play because I want to see how tough we are. Like I want to be out there and see how tough we really are because this is a game where you find out how tough you are, not only physically but mentally. Right? Can you play 60 minutes of clean football? Right? Can you not have false starts and penalties to take your offense backwards? Okay, can you always be on the positive side? That's something we've had struggles with in the past is penalties throughout the year, right? We've had our issues with it.
Yeah,
you want to make
sure the offensive line.
Yeah,
a lot of penalties there.
Yep. Got to make sure we're clean Sunday, and the holdings, right? The holdings, and same thing on the defense side. We got to make sure we're clean, guys. We can't be, we can't get ourselves caught up in having like 8 penalties and think we're gonna, that's another thing that can hurt us in a football game, right?
Absolutely.
Where we don't come out with a win because, again, self-inflicted wounds. And I think that's, at the end of it, we talked a lot about it, but that's where this game comes down to. And everybody's had the same opinion on it and different ways to look at it, but it's all, it all comes down to, hey, can we not turn the football over? Can we win time and possession? And can we not? And can we win the penalty battle? Right, which matters. Can we win those three categories, which are all categories I think we all believe we can win and we should win? We win all three of those. I cannot wait to talk to you all Sunday night, and the party has started because I don't give a rat's ass who I'm playing at that point. You know what I mean? You could send the greatest dynasty of all time, the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? It's Terry Bradshaw, and I'm like, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. Right? Like, I don't care who's coming who's going to Arizona with me. I just know we're going and we're loaded up. And if this guy for some reason comes here and beats us, oh boy, it's gonna be a long off season. So don't even think about it. That's just me telling you, don't think negative the rest of the week. I need the people out there thinking like a winner. Think positive. You put the bad thoughts in your head of things that happened in the past, of teams that shouldn't have came in here and beat us and did through the Andy years. Remember something. Last time, it ended in 2017. You hoisted the Lombardi and it went away. There ain't no Jake the Holmes anymore. 2017 ended it. I said Case Keenum, but the bigger thing that was the nail in the coffin in 2017 is not only was it our first one, right? Not only did we get over our hurdle and the curse, but we dethroned the GOAT.
Yeah. In the process.
Yeah.
While he passed for 500 yards on us, we dethroned the GOAT.
Right? And that's what we talked about all week. That week. That's how curses end. It's how curses end. You go beat that guy. And we did it. We did it to the credit of this football team. Well, guess what? A lot of some doggies are still here. We got some dogs in the kennel still roaming. And now we got the taste as a fan base too. So we got to put away because we've always done this, right? And we talk about it Sunday, Greg. Yeah. The one automatically assume the worst. Not this time. Not this time. Because the worst would be a 7th round quarter. Because we got to hear that from other fan bases, right? You went a 7th round quarterback. Wow, Link's really a tough place to play,
dude,
right? I can hear.
Yeah.
Yep. Not happening. Not happening.
If I have to hear that from my friends, from anybody.
No, I'm some new friends, Ralphie.
Oh my God,
Ralphie, if you hear that from your friends, better be cutting those friends off. Just for your sanity.
Yeah.
It's a lock in a century again. It's another lock in a century that Brock Purdy's not coming in here and beating us.
So assuming that the Eagles get the job done on Sunday.
No, Eagles get the job done.
Well, I don't do the when. I don't do that.
This game's the biggest. This game's must-watch TV too. I mean, no question about it. You got a winner and a tough football team in Cincinnati, well coached, and
walking on one leg. Mahomes.
Yeah, and you got Mahomes
back on one leg.
Even though he walked great today, but you're still like, man, that's a quick walk rate. Like once you start rolling around, running around, how's it feel? But this is an exciting matchup, and I think the line might have moved already on it, right? Because it started at 2.5, 3, something like that. Might have been 2.5.
They both were 3 or right around that.
Yeah. What is the Kansas City Cincinnati game at now?
It's
one.
I'll look.
One. Yeah.
So that tells you that
Bengals minus
on
one.
FanDuel it's -1 Bengals. Yeah.
But it was -2.5, 3 Bengals. They were the favorite walking into this football game because of the unknown situation with Mahomes and the ankle.
Yeah.
Now that it goes to -1, it's trending in the direction that Vegas believes he's going to be good to go. Like not that he's playing because we already know he's playing, but he's going to be the Mahomes we know.
They got the insider.
And the odds tell you that too, Tommy, because that's a +1 at -115, so it's not even at the -110.
On FanDuel right now.
So you got to pay a little bit more to get, you know what I mean, for the home dog.
On FanDuel right now,
Which kind of
money line
evens
is
it out.
minus. Both of them are minus 108. Both teams.
True.
Wow,
Bengals are -1 for the spread, but the money line they're both 108.
that's weird because DraftKings is Bengals -115, Chiefs -105. So you play the middles, you're at 108, which is funny, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Man, this is a tough game to pick, isn't it, though?
It is.
Because both teams have been there. Both teams proven it. Both quarterbacks have proven how delicious they are.
Does Joey
right?
go back to back?
Well, Mahomes,
Back-to-back?
I don't think Mahomes has Mahomes beaten Burrow ever.
No, Burrow.
I think he's
Burrow's
0-4.
3-0.
Right, not many guys.
In Arrowhead. He's 3-0 in Arrowhead. Did you
Yo,
hear
that
what
dude. That
did
dude.
you hear what they were saying in practice? Did you hear the mic ups in practice in the Bengals practice? They were calling Joey Burrowhead because he's 3-0 in Arrowhead. They were calling him Burrowhead.
Listen.
Dude.
No.
Burrowhead,
He's
yo.
3-0.
Yo, that's all he does is win, dude.
This
That's all
guy
that
might
dude does.
It's insane.
This mother effer might be Brady, not this Brock Purdy nonsense that everyone.
Oh, he ain't, nobody's Brady because they weren't drafted that late. This dude's just a winner.
Yeah, this
So he
guy-
might be like the sad thing about Brady's played so long, nobody will ever be compared to him, right? So it's just like this dude's elite. This dude's freaking elite. He's a winner.
He can have long
Best thing that kid did is leave Ohio State.
Oh yeah, 100%.
This guy could have lawn
Ohio
chairs
State.
as his offensive line, and he could still put up 35
Oh,
points.
dude, insane.
Dude, he's so like quietly
The
mobile.
craziest thing
He-
too
he
about the
said-
Bengals.
But that I think is a huge key. Is when does that offensive line or lack thereof come back to bite them?
Well, it might at
Is
some
it
point.
this week? Is it the Super Bowl? Right? You know what I mean? Like that, I think is the huge.
Well, what was
key.
it? Was it last year against Tennessee when he was like sacked for what, like 10 or
7 or
11
8
times, right?
Yeah.
It was like something absurd.
Just
Well, I
From
definitely-
Cincinnati, real quick, dude. They started off so slow this year, and
Well,
we
2
were
and
like,
3, right?
well, it's a Super Bowl hangover, you know.
2
it
and
is
3,
what it
right?
is.
2
And
and
then
3.
they come out and they wrap
Yeah.
off 12 wins. Wrap off
Yeah.
12 wins, and they're back in the AFC Championship game.
Well, you asked the same question about them, Ralphie, too. Like, all right, does the winning streak come to an end? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
you won so many in a row. You almost as a fan, wish there was an L mixed in somewhere, like in the season.
Yeah.
Like, so you
Yeah.
just break it up, like right in the middle, chop that in half.
See, ours came at the end of the year, so we're cool. You know what I mean?
We're
not like-
clean. We're clean. Yeah, we're clean. We're clean.
Yeah.
I'm root as much as I want like the Eagles versus Andy storyline, and
I am. I would love that story.
like I would love that, but just again, assuming that we handle our business and we have another 2 weeks of this, one more week. I'm rooting for Cincinnati because one, their O-line can come get some, and most importantly, Eli Apple and his Twitter fingers, he can also come get some. Like
Yeah,
that's fine. Like I would love
yeah.
to see that in my life. I need that. I need
Yeah.
that to experience that.
I'll sit out on ever wanting either one of them, right? You know what I mean? In terms of Barrow or Mahomes.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I-
that won't be fun. That won't.
Yeah, like I'm not going to go running for either one of them, but give me. Okay, we broke the curse in 2017, like we talked about, right? But now you fast forward. You know what? Let me end it. Let me double dip it again on a curse. I'm going to go beat Andy now, and we couldn't win one with Andy.
Oh,
I'm going to go
my
beat. I'm going to go beat Travis Kelsey too. So Jason gets one up on him, and that parade's even better. It's a win. It's a win-win. That matchup really sells nationally too. Like that matchup is probably what the NFL's rooting for. Like if the NFL had their perfect world, that's the matchup I think they would want.
ESPN ranked, this was before the playoffs even started. It was the day before. They ranked their top 10 potential Super Bowl matchups out of all of the teams who made it. Eagles Chiefs was ranked number 1 in their list.
Oh, great storylines.
Yeah,
they can
it
milk
is.
that shit for
It
2
is.
weeks.
Yep.
They can milk it for 2 weeks.
Just milking a cow, milking
Oh,
a cat.
Absolutely.
Can you milk a
Everybody
cat
loves
fucker?
great stories.
Yeah, you can milk a cat fucker. I didn't know you can milk a cat. I mean, that's all they're doing. They're just cat milking.
Oh,
but
man.
but listen, I don't even know how to. Like I said again, I don't know how to pick this one. I mean, Ryan, you're rooting for Cincinnati. If I'm rooting, I guess I'll go with Mahomes. I'll root for the Chiefs. I'll root for Andy. Come see me, because I think
my Super Bowl pick when we gave out our predictions before all this, I think I had Chiefs, so I'm gonna stick with Chiefs.
yeah,
I'm
I
gonna go Eagles, Chiefs.
I had the Bills.
Didn't age well.
I had Eagles Chiefs, but to be honest with you, when I talk about like my rooting interest, like going into it, I would want Bengals. If we actually either way, if we win at the 3:00 game or if we lose, I'm going to be inconsolable either way. So I'm probably not going to see much of the second game on Sunday. So like, I'll just like, you know what I'm saying? Like that'll be like background noise.
If we win, if we win, I'm locked into the next one because it's like, we're there. We don't got the pressure. So the next one becomes like this easy for me to watch.
Eat
right?
some fucking stuffed bread.
But if we lose, if we lose, I'm not watching anything. You know what I mean? Everything we get.
Gas goes to bed at 7:30. Early bed.
I might. It's gas. I might be following them. You know what I mean, Ralphie? I might be in bed with him at 7:32. I mean, I can't deal with this one. This would be dude, to me.
At home.
Yeah, this ranks up there with Tampa.
There was a comment that you had up earlier where it was, where does this, if we do lose, where does this rank up for? Like, I forget who put it up.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
I forgot. Let me go find it. Let me go see if I can find it and throw
Number one.
Oh, yeah.
The 7th round, Mr. Irrelevant coming. Get the frig out of here. And not 7th round like 3 years ago. 7th round, that just happened. It's not like he's like a seasoned like NFL player, though. Like, not season playing wise, but just seasoned in the league. Like, if he was in the league for his second year, I'd be a little bit more concerned, right? If he was in the year for his third year, I'd be probably a little bit even more concerned. But the fact that you just got here and you're 7th round, like the last guy, like, so essentially you're an undrafted free agent. Get the fuck out of town. Get out. No, get out.
I don't disagree with you, but you know where my head goes when you talk about like worst losses of the last like 20 years, just all 4 sports. You know where I go, and that's the only
4 sports or Eagles. I thought we were talking Eagles.
Ralphie, was he talking like all 4, or is he talking Eagles?
Because I have other ones.
For the Eagles, it was. I gotta find it. I got
ones. I got
4-0.
Yeah, I got Sixers. I got Phillies.
Well, it's when you talk about again like how this would be really bad because you have a 3rd-string 7th round rookie quarterback at home, 1 seed. The only thing that I think, and again, the Phillies are up there. I'm sure I could find some Flyers ones that are up there. That's our entire life is Flyers.
You gonna go Kawhi bounce?
No, because that guy wasn't a human. Like, okay, like you lost to the Terminator. It's in Toronto. You lost in the 2nd round as a 1 seed to Ginger Kevin Herter and an interim head coach. The Hawks. That's the only thing that I think of. And plus, that was like spread out. Like that was like collapse game 5, choke job game. No. Choke job game 4, collapse game 5. Didn't even show up in game 7. Like that was like 17 things. That's the only thing that I think of that could rank up to this.
Yeah, I just think that one year we had a better roster, right? And that's why it probably hurt more because we had like Jimmy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we had JJ, but I mean we had JJ next year, but
Boban backup center. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we're probably better overall roster, but this is probably talking Sixers for a second. This is probably our best roster we've had. Overall, yeah, it is. It's the best
with legit NBA players.
Would it be the biggest scar if the Eagles lose to Mr. Irrelevant in their own house with the best talent roster ever and watch the Niners go to the Super Bowl in Philadelphia?
Yes.
Yeah, it wouldn't be great.
Yes.
Wouldn't be good.
This would be the worst. This would be the worst because it's recent.
It's worse than Rondé Barber taking that interception.
Yes.
He's still running right at me.
Yeah.
And then Joe Jaravish they're still running right at me in the end zone.
This is unlike any other thing because of the situation, the circumstances, and everything that goes into it, right? Like losing to St. Louis, they went on to win the World Series. That was a pretty good team you lost.
Yeah.
To, even though Cliff Lee coughed it up, right? Like, Atlanta's a fraud, right? So but the Sixers are frauds until they get over their hump, essentially, playoff-wise. They've been frauds. So that one's like, okay, I expect 2nd round exits, I guess, right? So, I mean, this would take over all of them. Everything that bothers me, right?
Yeah.
All the Eagles losses, like every loss ever bothered me.
Freaking Jake Delhomme in Carolina, that terrible loss,
This is worse.
To Ted's question, he says, okay, if we win, where does it rank? To me, because, again, like we talked about, like if you get to the bowl, you want to win, like, we're there, you might as well win it. But it's not like bust territory, which we talked about. If you win this game, to me, it solidifies the greatest single Philadelphia sports season of my lifetime. Just me.
Yeah, I agree. My lifetime too, absolutely.
Not
100%.
Eagles, any team of my lifetime, the single greatest season of my life.
Well, what do you guys mean? Like, you mean if they win it?
If they win Sunday, if they get to the Super Bowl, yes.
That would rank as your greatest if they didn't even win the Super Bowl over 2017, over
I'm going the whole
2008.
thing. If they win the whole freaking thing.
Because of the sheer dominance and how we almost had we had a calmness all year.
That calmness is cute, but if you don't win it, that's not how's the greatest?
Well, didn't we talk about how it's like if you get there?
It's about winning. No. Getting there is cool. Getting there is a great feeling. You win or lose, it doesn't matter. But then it doesn't rank up there as my greatest when I've actually won a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? To me, I'm talking for myself. I'm in it to win it. Like, if I get there, it's house money, but like it doesn't rank up as my biggest accomplishments, or best seasons because I didn't finish. It's probably top, 5, right? It's probably it's a top 10 or at worst, right? Because we don't have many championships here, right? So it's up there in seasons of what we've watched for sure. But to me, it'll never go 1 because in 2017, I won the whole thing. That season was amazing, not only because we were winning, even Nick came in, we were still winning, right? Like, we didn't stop winning either. So and then we went in the playoffs and we just didn't stop either. And the NFC Championship game was the smoothest game of my life, right? It was like the easiest championship game you could ever be a part of. So much dominance. Yeah. So that to me solidifies it. But if this team wins it all, it could take over the number 1 spot for sure. Because there's a lot of other things that, like, just like that year, you probably weren't as expected. Yeah,
again, this is not a shot at 2017 at all. So, like, anybody in the chat getting upset, like, it's not a shot at them whatsoever. It's just wire to wire. We didn't have that calmness in 2017. We didn't. And I'm not putting 2017 like 5th, right?
We did before Carson got hurt, and then when Nick came in, all we did was win again, keep winning. Not like we stopped winning.
No,
the only hardship we had that year, outside of our players 5 players getting hurt, right? Obviously, 5 guys went down. They were important parts of the football team. But like the point is like besides that big Carson injury, right? That was the biggest like hurdle of our season in terms of emotions. Besides that, we just kept winning. Like it was just like this year, except the quarterback didn't get hurt this year like that.
Yeah, the only thing I would say to that is there was a good 3.5 weeks where it was like, oh, Nick Foles isn't good. Oh my God, we might need Sudfeld. This final game against the Cowboys is like a Nate Sudfeld audition.
Well, that's idiots. But people here were talking like, we had the same concerns about a shoulder. I mean, but no, we had there was major concerns about a shoulder here. We had a bigger concern. That was just as big a concern as Carson, like not playing, being down. Like then we were like, oh my God, we've seen Gardner. He's struggled, right? And now we might still have a lingering shoulder issue. I mean, that was like the biggest news walking around. People were talking about one and done, right? Depending on who you played. There was a lot of there was
people talking about having Jalen sit for 5 weeks to come back to the divisional game.
That's crazy.
So like there was the same type of in any year, right? In any year that you go on a long run, there's ups and downs in different ways. We've had close games, we've had blowouts, we've had stressful, like we've had it all this year, right? Just like we've had the same thing in 2017, where 2017 we would roll somebody, win a tight one, roll somebody, win. It was the same type of shit. Right, look great one week. Next week we're like we win, but we're like I don't know, right? So similarities in both in a way, but this can definitely overtake it if you win because the difference is you believe this quarterback then is going to be here for a long, long time and he's young, so that this win sort of jumps you into like. Hey, can we go on? Can we get here? Like, can we now really get here like 2 or 3 more times, right? And maybe win another 1 or 2, right? Then you start having those conversations because he's 24, right? So this win to me would definitely rank up there because there's a lot of bigger parts, right? There's a lot of bigger meanings in 2017 than outside of, we finally won one.
I just want to make it clear to the people at home, a couple of which just don't know how to listen, that I'm not awarding like, oh, you win an NFC title game it's like a participation trophy. Like, I don't care if we win the Super Bowl. Like, no, you please win the damn Super Bowl, as we've said 100 times on the show. So, like, it's not like, oh, you win the NFC title game. Okay, I'm good. Like, no, like, please freaking win. I do not want to go through 2 weeks of celebration and then.
Well, I think that people's problem is ranking it as your best season that you've watched in Philly sports if they don't win. Not that you're saying participation trophies. If somebody wants to knock it like I did. Like, hey, like this, we didn't finish with a win now. Like, just like the Phillies was a great season, awesome season, but it doesn't rank as high as 08. You know what I mean? That I witnessed 08 too, clearly. Right? It doesn't rank that high. It's probably like second, right, in my lifetime. But I go back to like 93. 93, we were young,
93,
Greg.
yep.
93, we were young. 93, probably third or fourth because I was so young. I was like, we were like 12, right? But but this year ranks right up there, even though we didn't win it because we don't have a lot of trophies. Right? So if you want to rank this year, like my argument to you is like rank it second, rank it third. Just don't rank it over 2017 unless they win it. And then you can rank it freaking number one, and I might be right with you. Like I said, because of what we have coming back and how we're young and how we're built to do it more, right? We're built to do it for a longer, sustain this for a longer period than we did, obviously, 2017. Make sense? And I think that's where this could be even more exciting than that year if we can get there and win it. But I'll always say, right, to the other side of it is, getting there is always a great time. But it doesn't mean when I get there that, like, I'm happy after a loss. I'm pissed off because then it's what could have been, right? What could have been, and
just like Phillies in 2010 and 2011, right? 2010, your 97-win team didn't get there. 2011, your 102-win team didn't get there.
Didn't get there.
I mean, those are two great seasons that, kind of, would replicate this year for the Eagles if you don't win it all.
Yep.
Right. Great season.
Yep.
Super calm for most of the year. Right. As 200 win teams are.
You have enemies too. You start to create enemies as a fan. Right. There starts to become guys.
Then you don't win.
Guys, some guys will become scapegoats. Yep. Right. So there's a lot more comes with losing. Philly's a little different because you went up against like the big bad wolf of baseball at the time, right? And you weren't even like, at one point, you weren't even going to be a playoff team, and you went on a run. So it's a little bit different, right? Even though our expectations were like the same in a way, right? But a little different because of the way we got in and how the run we went on. But that's an incredible season too. So winning it all doesn't necessarily make this, define it being an incredible season. To me, it's just it doesn't rank one unless they win it, and then I'll put them one. Win it so I can put you one, please, guys. Not asking for a lot.
Well, I think too. I think we have to remember it. Regardless if we have a 1, 2, 3, 7, 17, everybody's lists are different, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it's an opinion thing. Like there's no right answer.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, but there sort of is when it comes to trophies and not trophies. No, because we're in for a trophy, so it can't be that
opinion-based list. And there's no
but it is factual trophies.
Well,
are they not factual?
Then how can we have this over the Eagles? I'm sorry, the Phillies World Series win?
Well, then where do you rank it? Where do you rank 2017
and
08?
That's when your different opinions can.
That's where different opinions happen over championships.
I'm
we just don't win enough. We don't win enough.
Chips. Yeah, when we only have two in your lifetime.
Yeah,
and in our lifetime too. We only have two.
Yeah, we're right there. There's not a lot to choose from. That's why I said you want
those two got to be up there. Those two popped our cherries.
Yeah, they got to be 1, 2
popped our
right
Phillies
now.
and our Eagle cherry.
Somebody's got to beat them. You know what I mean? We got to start talking like that. Like somebody's got to beat them so we can make this our number one season, right? Because you won't have. If we lose Sunday, if we lose in the Super Bowl, you won't have the same feeling the next time you do a show. They will. I bet you they don't. I bet you that you won't have that same feeling if they did lose.
Don't you? This is clear. This is purely me trying to get to Monday. That's it. That's all this is. It's literally trying to get to Monday where the Eagles are still alive. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's where all this energy is. if
no,
you-
that's what everybody's trying to
Yeah.
do. We're just trying to get another week or 2 weeks, right? But at the end of the day, you can't backpedal on what you just said. You ranked this season number 1 over a season we won it all.
No, I didn't.
So don't say it's just a different energy. That's what you said.
See, now we're doing the
debate
crow.
base.
Now we're doing the crow. I guess I'm crowing.
No, it's a debate.
Like,
So you can't handle the debate then. When somebody, I'm rebuttaling and
you're
playing
rebuttaling
devil's
off the wrong.
advocate, and so is Greg.
You're rebuttaling off the wrong thing. I wasn't backpedaling. I was giving you a reason as to why I would say, "Hey, if you win this,
You said this is your number 1 season of all time in watching Eagles football.
if they win this week, yes, correct."
Okay, then that's where
And
it
I
was.
just-
There's
and-
nothing
and
to do with anything else.
Okay, all right.
No, I'm just saying that's what you said. Why are we talking about anything else? That's what you said. It's okay. You want to make an opinion base, fine. I differ from your opinion. That's all I'm saying. And I think most people out there are in it saying that if I won it, it's a better season. That's all. And it's okay to have different opinions. I'm just going to say it's more when we don't have a lot of trophies, the 2 trophies we do have to be 1 and 2. And then anything else that becomes opinion based. Like if it's 3, I'm sure, right? Like it's a great season. You know, if the Phillies are 3 and this year, cool. It was an awesome run. Like nobody's ever going to debate it wasn't a great run. Make sense? That's where I'm saying like I'm not going to debate it wasn't a great run. I'm just going to debate that as my number 1 season. When I just felt what it tasted like to win one in 2017 and be on Broad Street with everybody, right? And experience that.
Rome,
that will always.
Rome, I can't be wrong on an opinion, Rome. I understand. I can't be wrong on an opinion. That's just that can't happen.
Well, yes, it can because that opinion can just be wrong.
This is why I just
like
don't hate you,
opinions are allowed to be wrong.
just-
Opinions are allowed to be wrong.
That's
why sports talk's here.
This
That's
is why I'm
sports talk's
okaying
here.
you. This is why I'm
Hold on.
okaying you.
That's why sports talk's here. Ryan. That's why sports talk's here because opinions are okay to be wrong. Like we've all made opinions, and that opinions have been wrong. It doesn't mean that's what we're here for. It's not like a big deal. You have a different opinion, but opinions can still be wrong. Opinions aren't that necessarily factual. That's an opinion, so they can be wrong.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Cool. So who do we have? Chiefs, Bengals. Who's going?
I got Chiefs. Chiefs are going.
Okay. Yeah, I think Pat Mahomes gets it done on one leg. Give me the Chiefs.
This is a new one. I had Bills. For me, give me Chiefs because I want to beat Andy. I want to beat Andy and shove it to Andy.
I went with Chiefs in our graphics, so I'll stick to it. I'm hoping I'm wrong though.
Shit, yeah, because you sold me on the offensive line for the Bengals
And
being
and Mr. Apple and Mr. Apple.
Yeah. Fuck Apple. But you sort of. I think Kansas City's defense has a lot to be desired too on their back end, right? There's a lot to be desired on their back end, so that sounds tasty to me too. Like, okay, we can score, so you want to score? We have a better defense though. So when I look at Cincinnati, it's like I'm more scared of them for some reason, right? Like I just feel like Joe Burrows is in big games like that, even more than Mahomes. Even though Mahomes has a ring, right? I'm more scared of Joe Burrow in his second time in 2 years, right? Like you were just there. Shit. Like that scares me a little bit. Now you're gonna get yours. So I think I don't want to make it a clean sweep, but I think I'm gonna say Kansas City because but I almost because I don't want Burrow, but I think they win though. I think Cincinnati wins though. Yeah. I want Kansas City, but I think Cincinnati's gonna win. Shit.
Yeah, it's the same. It's like either way, whoever's going to represent the AFC, it'll be an entertaining Super Bowl regardless.
I would take a bad ankle still, though. You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely.
Like I would take
Can you tweak it? Can you tweak it?
2 to 4 week injury. Like I get
Cincinnati O line against our defensive line. No.
Yeah.
That smells like 7. But they beat us here last year, right? Cincinnati. Then they beat us here.
We tied.
Oh, we tied.
We tied.
That was the year with Wentz. We tied.
The last year with Wentz, we tied.
That was Joey's rookie year, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Before the knee injury. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is dangerous territory I'm looking at because I'm literally looking at which rushing defense and passing defense is better. The friggin' Chiefs or the Bengals. Like I'm looking at like, oh, which team matches up better with us? And the rushing defense is kind of a wash because Cincinnati's ranked 7th, Kansas City's ranked 9th in rushing defense. Passing defense as total yard is concerned. Neither one's great because I'm scrolling here for a little bit. Kansas City's 18th, Cincinnati's 24th. Yeah, go Cincinnati. Yeah. Big fan of Cincinnati.
So now you're switching.
No, Greg. No. I picked the Chiefs on the graphic, but I'm rooting for Cincinnati.
Oh, okay.
So both are bad on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
So either team is somebody that we feel like we can air it on, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's a positive thing if we get there, right? Like that'd be a positive, like next week conversation. Hopefully next Wednesday we're talking about, we can expose them in the air, right? Like hopefully, I'm hoping because I love all you. I love talking this shit with you guys, right? And I'm praying to God that next week, right, we're having this conversation on how do we beat Team A or Team B.
Total defense is concerned. I just want to go full circle on this. Kansas City is a top 10 total defensive team. Cincinnati 17th. Once again, go Cincinnati, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Spags ends up getting stuff out of their defense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're gettable, but he gets some stuff out of there.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I would prefer not. I don't know who I want to play. I could do this all night. I'm almost. I'm so conflicted. I just want to get there and then play one.
When Sunday comes, if we win on Sunday, I think we all sit there and say we don't care who we play. We want all the smoke. Just give us anybody, and let's just battle.
But if we do face Cincinnati and Arizona, we know that the game cannot end a tie. We're all good with that.
True.
We're clear. 58-yard field goal. We
tied them with Donovan, and we tied them with Wentz.
Yep.
So.
Wow.
And Evan McPherson hits like one from like 61 to win it.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
I'm just hoping we have 2 weeks to decide. Hey, what is it good that the Bengals won, or should we have rooted for the Chiefs a little harder? Like I hope that's
we're gonna freaking go down that rabbit hole. Who's got the worst kicker?
Yeah. Like I said Wednesday, I really hope I get to the point of talking shop with you boys next week. About how we can beat Team A, B, and I think our confidence level will be sky high if we win this game. So I expect the rowdy show on Wednesday. Expect the rowdy show Sunday night, Greg, because we're winning this football game, and there's gonna be a lot of excitement. So I need you all out there. Hit the like, subscribe, wherever you're watching. Stay with us. Enjoy the ride because we're going where we want to go. And it's a lock. Lock it in. This guy ain't beating. Now stop it. I just can't.
Ralphie, I look forward to like the 1:50 mark of next Wednesday where we're like, Ralphie, I really don't trust the Bengals linebackers coach. Yeah. Like, I just think we have the edge there. Like their fifth string linebacker, I think that's going to give us an edge.
Yeah.
They're
going down the rabbit hole.
Special teams guys that just doesn't do it for me.
Telling you.
I hope that's our life next week. I really do.
That's probably more of a week too.
Oh yeah. What you start digging for stuff to talk about?
Yeah, week two's it.
Week two. Fucking wiki. Look at his personal life, his college years. Jesus Christ.
Week two, we'll get the shovel out. Week two, we'll get the shovel out, and we'll be digging deep.
Oh my God.
Deep.
Week two, we got to go with the hopefully. It's got to be the Eagles Super Bowl props. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got the bright green Gatorade, or they got the forest green Gatorade.
Yeah. What's going to be the first commercial?
How much stupid money can I lose early?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Jesus.
So listen, let's go win this football game. Big game. It's a big game.
Yep.
They all are. So if we come to play and we play our best football, Sunday night, we're going to be feeling awesome. We're going to be delicious and grease the poles, baby, because we're coming back. We're coming back for more. We're back.
I just might fly straight home from Vegas to Philly and just get ready for the parade.
Greg, book your
Greg,
ticket.
see, do we need to make an executive decision though and say, Greg, you're in Florida for the other 2 playoff games? We need you to stay down there.
I'll be in Vegas. I had no other choice.
Oh yeah, they gave you the yeah. Okay, forgot about that.
It's a work trip. I mean,
Forgot about
be
that.
there.
You have to be there though. Like,
If I kind of want to keep my job.
these are bigger
Greg
than us.
needs
though,
money
right?
to make.
I mean,
The current conversation is how late of a flight can I get out of Vegas to get me to Reno to cash my tickets and then back to Vegas early enough Monday morning so I can catch my flight home. That's my current mindset right now. Crazy.
All right.
You have to
Hope
cash them.
your tickets. Hope you can cash your tickets.
I
All
might
right,
need you to
boys.
take a sabbatical, Greg, for like a couple weeks.
All right, boys. Anybody got anything else?
Nope.
Nah.
Buckle up for Sunday.
Giddy up.
Buckle up.
Yeah, the roller coaster is gonna
Yep.
be there. I can't wait. It's gonna be wonderful.
Everybody take deep breaths. If you got an inhaler, please use it. Sunday will be like as expected, tough, but maybe they'll surprise us. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll like blow the doors off of them again, and then we're really then you can't fit our heads through anything.
If we blow them out, Tom, I officially don't give a damn who we play in the Super Bowl. I don't give a damn.
Yeah. Bring whoever you want. You can bring Burrow and Mahomes. They can whoever's the hot hand can play.
That's fine.
Yeah, whoever the hot hand is. But like every Wednesday, we were brought to you by FanUp, and FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use promo code A2D and get $50 right at sign up. You can download FanUp on the Apple Store. So go check them out. For Frank Vespi, Greg Malkovic, throwing the prayers. Ralphie D. And is that a comfy comforter?
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I love it.
Good. It's good. So I was curious about that back there.
I thought for a second I thought he called Ryan the comfy comforter.
No, that's not. We're not late enough for that. That's more like
That's for another hour.
He almost called me what?
A comfy comforter. And
I did not call you a comfy comforter.
Right.
I didn't even say Ryan's name yet. For Ryan Brodo.
Hey.
I'm telling her, everybody out there, we love you. We thank you all for all your comments. The chat's flying tonight. Hey, let's find a way. Give us another 2 weeks, and we'll figure it out then.
Oh, yeah.
This has been A2D Wednesday nights. Turn your alerts on. Hit the subscribe. Hit the follow.
Hit it, Frank.
Stay with us. Go, Frank.
Go Birds.
Cool.